All right, everyone,
Oh.
we're live. We are live. We're kind of singing songs back here. We're live.
Hello.
I'm kind of singing the
Yeah.
Hi,
final.
everyone.
I was humming to myself the final countdown. So welcome everybody. I want everybody to feel the effects of this. So this is the nail biter, the last 36 hours, whatever it is. So everybody stay for this 30-second countdown, and you'll catch us on the other side of it. Here we go. All right, my nerves are jangling just from that now. Tomorrow evening, Matt, the
Jeez.
the seconds will be ticking away, Matt, and
Yeah,
who knows what's going to happen.
Well, nothing by the looks of it. I mean, it's like we were saying before we came on live. It's the final countdown. It's not very long until the close of the window, and we've had a quick fire sale of pretty much everybody that's not playing, which is fine. But where's all the incomings? You just wonder whether this Amazon documentary, they're waiting for some deadline day madness to go down. Yeah, you just wonder whether they're sitting on it. They're sitting on all of this good news, hopefully until tomorrow, and then they'll just surprise us all. But yeah, my faith in that's dwindling a little, but I'm trying to keep positive. Trying. They can't sell that many players, get rid of that many, and not bring them in. Surely.
Nope.
Yeah. Mahir, Urban Ghost says, welcome. I say welcome, Urban Ghost, to another nail-biting transfer window. Here we are again.
Yes, sir.
We got some players out the door, but, Arteta has said, and I'll put the banner up there, Arteta has said you have to maximize every window. And maximizing every window means incomings as well as outgoings.
I mean, what really? Maybe there's some bangers tomorrow. Hopefully, some bangers incoming. You heard it here first.
Who do you reckon's
But I mean-
incoming then, Mahir?
Look, I'm praying because we got really. There's no ways we're gonna even make top 6, top 8. Well, everybody's hopes. That's why I didn't have high expectations as per se when I was asked. Ray asked us all, what's your expectations? And like we were saying, top 4, top 6. I came up with a complete blank.
Yeah, Gary is off camera, but his mic is working. So, Gary, welcome to our flight to Spain. We're headed to Spain. Possibly we're going to drop some cash at the doorstep again, Gary.
Yeah, I guess this is the way we do business now. We do it the easy way. All this like talking, trying to sell somebody on a project and, get the best deal that come in. Nah, Arsenal does it easy, man. You know what? What's the number? All right, we'll pay it. All right, Uncle Stan, can we get the cash? Yes. All right, cool. We're going to drag this thing out because that's what marketing says, all right? That's the only reason why they're dragging it out. I just assume get it done, move on, and then have him over in Dubai, and we have pictures of whoever is coming in Dubai with his teammates, right? They're saving money. They're skimming, right? Instead of giving them a free trip to Dubai, they're like, you know what? We're just going to hold it off. Why? Get the man his trip, all right? Whoever it is. It should be 2 people, right? Once again, Arsenal is taking it the cheap way. We're going to go as cheap as possible. We're going to go as easy as possible. Hopefully it works out, but we'll see. We'll see.
Exactly. And Gary, you're going to have a show tomorrow over on the Red Cannon. You're going to have all the goodies. You're going to have all of the news up front. And you're going to know what's happened. We're here fumbling over here at Arsenal Fan Circle today, fumbling in the dark about what's happening, possibilities. But you're going to know tomorrow night, Gary, what's happening.
Or I'll just be screaming the whole time going, what the... And, I don't use that language, but, you can understand. For 90 minutes, so just to be talking about what could have been. You know what? What could have been? Can these 11 or 9 or 13 players that we do have that are worthy, I guess, of Arteta's, worthy of Arteta, Will they do it? And then if we come up short, I don't understand. They have no answers as to why we screwed up, and I've yet to hear them ever say that.
Yes.
Yeah. Dave over at LFC Chats, sitting pretty. Liverpool went and did their business. They got Luis Diaz. We actually broke that on Thursday night. We knew about that on the podcast on Thursday night. Happy Diaz.
He's not that good. That's what I'm going with. That's how I feel about it. He's not that good.
Well, the thing with Diaz is he's going to be able to sit behind Salah and Mane, Firmino, and learn his trade and become better. He's going to get cup games. He's going to get minor games in the Champions League, and he's going to
cup games. What's that?
Yeah, we need.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, this content here over at Arsenal is going to be very thin on the ground. So, Matt, wearing white colours? I don't think so. No.
I can assure you that it isn't a Tottenham top. There we are. There's the evidence.
Yeah, Patagonia.
It's washing day today, and this is the last T-shirt in the drawer. So,
Gary checking some license plate numbers off camera. So, Matt, as Gary said, we'd like to have Isak over there in Dubai, not having one goalkeeper take shots on the other goalkeeper. That's how thin we are.
Yeah, it's pretty desperate, isn't it? Unless it's kind of a ploy by Arteta to maybe put Ramsdale up front, and he's our new striker for the rest of the season. Stick Leno in goal. I mean, he can put the ball away. I don't know if you've seen the clip. He can definitely shoot, but it's desperate times. Yeah, I don't know. Vlahovic, I think, from a player perspective, is probably the best option in terms of quality. Isak, I don't really know a huge amount about him. I've seen clips, but it's a bit limited as to what you can get from clips on YouTube and things like that. But you'd like to think that if he was our kind of number 2 option, we would have been in there pretty quickly and got the deal done. So I don't know whether there's an issue over his kind of release clause, which is meant to be something like 90 million or something like that. So given he's not a finished product yet, that's an awful lot of money to pay for a player. So I just don't know what's going on. We're all in the dark, aren't we? There's
Matt,
very, very little coming out.
What's the figure? What's the figure on what was the figure on Vlahovic? How much did Juventus pay?
I'm not sure. I think didn't they pay something like 65 million plus add-ons or something like that, plus 8 million and agents' fees or something like that.
Yeah, so, look, I would think Vlahovic and Isak are going to be very, very similar in terms of the bottom line price that's going to be paid. Yeah. It's just Vlahovic is more of a finished article than Isak. We're going to be paying a premium for potential, Matt.
Yeah, probably about
It's a difficult one because the thing is, if Aubameyang, and it is looking like Aubameyang's obviously going to Barca on loan, that leaves us with very, very limited options up top. And, what we've got, Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette, possibly Martinelli, who can play up there, but then that leaves us a little short on the wide sides if he's meant to be covering there as well. It leaves us quite short. So you'd think that with Aubameyang likely to go off to Barcelona if Dembele kind of gets sold, which it looks like he's going to go somewhere, then we're going to be short. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a deal in the back pocket for tomorrow to announce. I think it would be really naive and quite silly for a club the size of ours not to replace if we're getting rid of key players like that. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a bit of a funny one.
Matt, I wanted to say to you, the funny thing is, if we were going to offer Vlahovic 60 plus or even more than maybe say 70, right? Mm-hmm. Surely there must be a deal tomorrow. Surely there must be a deal for either striker or top quality midfielder. I mean, for that price. Yeah, if we got the money, like you say, Mahir, if we got the money to go in and really push Fiorentina to the limits with, a £70 million bid on the table, we've clearly got the money to spend, and we're clearly willing to spend it. So, I can't see Isak's deal being off the table because of money. I think, if we really want him, we'll go and get him. I think, like Ray says, it will be down to whether
Arteta and the board really think that he's worth that release clause, given kind of he's not the proven product just yet, and whether he's worth investing in that amount of money. But who else is the option we've got? I've not really heard anybody else. Calvert-Lewin, there was some small rumours, weren't there, for about a 58 or 60 million pound bid, but nothing's really firmed up about that, and I've not really seen anything else about it. So I think that might have just been someone making things up and pushing it out there on Twitter. It's very, very quiet, very, very quiet from the club. Nothing's really coming out. So that to me maybe says that there are things going on. Sometimes when you're getting a lot of noise, it actually means not a lot is happening. Sometimes we're doing stuff in the background very quietly. We're not actually putting things out there and feeding too much to other clubs or to the press as to what we're doing until it's done. So fingers crossed that means good things.
Yeah, Gary, when you hear all of these journalists, they're not saying there's nothing going on. They just don't know what's going on. And we don't know what's going on out there, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would be the reason to hold on to, whatever they have in their pocket. What difference does it make if it's today or tomorrow? I say the sooner the better. Let's get it done. Let's move on. Yep. But, I'm just looking at somebody just put out, kind of what our team looks like right now.
I've got it listed here to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
22.
It's scary, right? It's scary. Tomiyasu, of course, Partey, Xhaka, of course. I mean, all of those are questionable players in terms of can we depend on them to play out the rest of the 17 games, right? The only backup that we have that's solid, I guess we have two really. I guess three maybe. Saka has Pepe behind him, and Davaj is behind Tierney, and Leno is behind Ramsdale. Otherwise, everybody else, maybe Erdegaard and Mills-Rufro back up, but everybody else is a step down considerably, and that could be scary if we need to depend on people. And we should have to depend on people. I know, supposedly everybody's like, you know what, we're out of Europe, so we're just gonna have cup games, so it should be easy. Well, it didn't look so easy, did it, against Nottingham, right? Didn't look so easy against Burnley, did it? I mean, these are games that we're supposed to be able to handle with the squad that we have, but yet we can't because we can't get the best out of all of our players, right? So,
Gary, if there's one thing we've learned through this half season is we go beyond 12 players and start digging into the depth in our team. We are in very dodgy ground then.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why I hear people saying there's no reason for us to go out and get players. I think there is. I think we can't do all of our business in the summer. That's not the way we work. And if there are players in the January window to get, we should get them regardless of whether everybody thinks it's a good fit for today. If everybody's talking about we should go out and plan for a Champions League squad. That's what I hear all the time. I don't believe it. I think we should just plan for a European squad. But, all right, whichever one you go for, don't we need depth? Mm-hmm. Aren't there players out there we could deal with right now? Like, would a Donny van de Beek be good for our team, right? I mean, there's a lot of players getting picked up now that have a quality that we could use. And they're not going to all get to play. I doubt that, seriously. But, no, I say we should be bringing in players regardless. And, we've let, 6 go? 6 go, nobody in. And we're already complaining about not having enough people. And COVID hasn't gone away. Injuries are unknown. Performances of players, we don't know from day to day what we're going to get. We keep complaining that, they're young. So we're going to have these ups and downs throughout the season. Well, all of those require depth, at least depth. If you can get starters now, do it. But I don't know. I think I'm rambling on and on and on about all this stuff. But
this is gonna be a huge transfer window show here because we're right on the doorstep of the end of the window. Gunnar Glenn, we are well aware Isak was in London yesterday, don't you know?
Yep.
Yes, we do. I believe he's still there. I believe he's still there until tomorrow. And I believe also Arsenal are trying to negotiate and haggle over the price because you can negotiate. There is a release clause that Real Sociedad is probably going to keep us to. Am I here?
I just wanted to say, You guys saw Aston Villa pull off so many deals. Why is it taking us? Why is it taking us so long? I would have taken Coutinho, but I'm just saying, why is it taking us so long? Even the Callum Chambers thing, that was like no, there was no nothing over nothing,
And
and
that was
then
quiet.
boom in the morning.
That was a quiet thing that happened very, very quickly, and we didn't get any kind of real money back for him.
But
Which
but
is
never mind that. I'm just saying, based on those type of what you call it's like Aston Villa managed to get Lucas Digne. Lucas Digne might not be the highest quality, but he's a decent bowler, decent bowler.
yeah.
But they managed to just get like on the ball like that. Would you have taken Coutinho, guys?
Other than we have Erdegaard in the midfield, bro, he
Probably
is a good
not.
player. We probably would have been top heavy in that position. Hi, Assemble.
Okay.
Please go easy on Ray tonight. Yeah, I'm just a fan as well. Don't make me cry. Ready, I've been common sense must have. I have been common sense.
We've been
must
asking for
prevail.
that for many, many years now, and I don't know if we've ever got that completely answered correctly. So I
Which
don't
is
know about
what?
this common sense thing. I mean,
Arsenal and common sense do not seem to jive right now. Glenn, are you talking about Isaac, Chris Isaac? Yes, maybe. Yes, big money didn't really deliver.
and you know what? Here's the thing: are we going to get Afcon Pepe? Or are we going to get Arsenal Pepe?
That's if he plays, Gary. He's got to get minutes first, doesn't he? And Arteta's got to play him, which he hasn't.
Well,
So-
exactly, Matt. Will we even have that question answered? Because Saka is going to be run into the ground, it seems, before Pepe's even given 10, 15 minutes here and there. We won't bring in a midfielder, says Stan. We have 4 to get us to the end of the season. Very, very clear message from Edu and Arteta at the start of the season. First choice midfielders are Partey and Xhaka. Backup.
Do we really have 4?
We have 4
That's
buddies.
what I'm saying. I named
Oh yeah, we do.
I'll
Yeah.
tell Nene.
No. So if Partey and
Xhaka.
Xhaka are out, how confident are you that the next 2 guys
Well,
will step in and do a job?
If Elneny's alongside Lakonga, I'm confident.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
leaving Lakonga in a single pivot is
Yeah, no
terrible. Lampard will keep Calvert-Lewin, so we're gonna dot around a lot of different names here today. I've got a lot of names to mention in this big transfer show. Yeah, Matt, Frank Lampard going to Everton. Let's dig into this a little bit. Of course, we were never really going to get Calvert-Lewin. They're in such desperate straits. It would have been very difficult to get Calvert-Lewin from Everton, right?
This window, very much so. Yeah, you know, he's key to them, and we would have had to pay some pretty big money to get him, and probably way outside of his actual value to bring him to the club. And you know, I could see some sense in if we can't find the players that we actually really, really want. I don't want the club just bringing in fifth options just because we need somebody this window. You know, we're going to be lumbered with them for the next 3 or 4 years on a contract, paying them wages. So if we do add to the squad, I want them to be our first, second, top quality choice. But yeah, I think it was wishful thinking to bring in Calvert-Lewin, to be honest with you. And I agree with, I can't remember who said it in the chat, but I think Frank's probably going to want to keep hold of him. He's going to be their main man up top. So yeah, I think that one's kind of dead in the water, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to bring in a striker. I don't care, either a young one, middle one, or an older one, whichever one we need.
Gary, what do you guys think of Ivan Toney from Brentford?
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I like him, but his recent kind of social media activities probably say that he could be a bit of another Aubameyang where he gets himself into trouble. And then Arteta's back to square one, isn't he? What's he going to do? Kind of banish him again as well?
Samuel said, Stan, have you heard rumors Spurs could get Arthur? If that is true, Arsenal are being bullied by Villa, Juventus, and Spurs. December news today that Juventus are signing Zakaria.
Damn it, that's another one.
Yeah, but
That's
that may
another
mean that
one.
Arthur Mello could be freed up to come to us. It's all going to come down to the final hours tomorrow. Mahir, Frank Lampard taking the job at Everton. Donny van de Beek had a choice between Crystal Palace or Everton. My belief is he's picked a club that's going to give him minutes over the best club. Better club for him would have been under Patrick Vieira and Crystal
Yeah,
Palace. It's a better club, but I think he's gambled. Donny van de Beek has gambled on playing games for Everton now. He's tired of sitting on the bench with Man United.
I would have taken Donny van de Beek as well.
Yep.
Another one that I would have said, yeah, yo, it hasn't worked out for you by that other trash ass club. Just come to us. We need midfielders. Your quality. Yeah, man. But like, what can I say? We've just been bullied. You know what? In order to get your transfer targets at the beginning of the window, right? You
Yeah.
send out your edu. You send out your edu or whoever does it, right? You send them out and you say, right, these are the players we want. Go to them and make pre-agreements. Not that they're definitely gonna come, but like agreements as if to say, we really want you. This is the price. Can we negotiate? Or all of that good stuff. And then now towards the middle and the end, it's like finalizing stuff. You understand? You
Mhm.
just get the play in. Just no haggling. Even if, say, for example, like Aston Villa, right? The way they got Coutinho maybe was like before the transfer window started, they said, you know what? We value Coutinho at 15, 20 million. But if you want, you can loan him for 5. And then Aston Villa just said, right, okay, here's the 5. Well, here's 5 million or here's 10 million, and we'll loan him for 6 months. And then the deal was finalized towards the middle, or after a few weeks, or after a month or so. And then boom, bang, Coutinho is your man. It's just
Yeah.
that easy, actually. Sorry
Yeah.
if I'm rambling, guys.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to get to this Mason Greenwood stuff. I'll start with Gary. I'll stay with
I...
Gary. Listen, it has to be addressed. We're not going to stay long on this. There is a victim involved who has had the courage to come forward and brought this into the light. So I very much don't want to talk about Greenwood, even though that sort of it has to be his name has to be out there because of the disgusting and disgraceful actions that he's had done. But you have to remember there's a victim here, and that's the person who has been wronged. Gary?
Yeah, no, I think whatever that young lady needs, she should get. And everybody, I see there's a lot of people making jokes and all of that. I don't think it's funny. None of that's funny at all.
No.
It doesn't matter which way it ends up going, but it's just not a funny thing to be talking about. I mean, yeah, no, yeah, no, it's
And that,
hopefully the right thing is done. I don't necessarily think there's much more truth that needs to come out, but hopefully they get whatever they need to get that thing sorted out and move on, and hopefully the lady's able to move on, best she can, and yeah, it's time. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
it's not a like I said, it's not funny. It's not funny at all.
no.
So.
There was pictures released, right? Was there audio as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
there was. Yeah. I couldn't
what-
bring myself to listen to it, but I know what's been said because there's transcripts and things. But I didn't want to listen to that. You don't need to. I didn't need to listen to
No.
Okay, but as much as I don't want to actually also know because I have a feeling what it's about.
Mhm.
What is it? Him forcing himself on.
Yeah, forcing himself on.
it. Basically, yeah.
There was audio record. Oh, she obviously,
Yeah.
the victim obviously audio recorded.
Yep.
All of the happenings for evidence. Okay.
And when a
Cancel
victim,
that, man.
when a
Cancel
victim,
him.
when a victim would do that, man, here it's not the first time that's happened as well.
No,
Possibly,
I understand.
you know?
But I'm just like, what the hell's the world coming to? There's supposed to be
I mean-
kindness and love and all of these things in the world, but like, this is not the first case. Like, there's been
No.
multiple cases of this happening. I mean, even as recent as DT getting a 3-year deal, and you guys want to know something about me? Like, I always, even like with some of my favorite people, whether they're YouTubers or not, I actually sent a message to say, we haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're okay. Your mental, before I even knew about anything to do with him, I said, you know what? Just as a human being, I hope you're okay. Your mental health is okay, because a lot of people's mental health is suffering, and then for him to do what he did, and now Greenwood, and oh my God, what is the world
Yeah.
coming to?
I just
It's
want
Yeah.
Matt.
Fuck, man.
No, I'm just going to say it's abhorrent. Regardless of who you are, there's no justification or defence for it.
No
It's taken incredible bravery for her to speak out particularly because of the position he's in. So incredibly brave for her to actually release that and do something about it, because it would have taken a lot of guts to do that. It seems it's really sad, because obviously you get horrendous people like this in all walks of life.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be that there's a problem within football. We've had the Mendy case, we've had this now. I'm sure there's been other cases as well. I don't know whether having so much money so young exacerbates some of these problems. Obviously, if you're like that, your mentality's there. It's in the back of your head. You don't just suddenly become like that one day.
Yeah.
You're predisposed, I think, to be like that. And I think circumstances bring that out of you. And I think the amount of money, power, fame that these kids get at such a young age, and maybe a lack of education as well around it, it just gives them this self-entitlement complex. Nobody says no to them. They get what they want all of the time, and maybe that feeds into it. But it's absolutely disgusting, and I hope the book gets thrown at him, because I think there's something very, very wrong if he ends up playing football again.
And anyone that would, the Greenwood's names out there, and anyone that would try to support him is just
Cancelled.
cancelled.
You can't
Cancelled.
support. You can't.
There you go.
It's horrendous. There's no way you can support that. How can you defend that? There's no way. You can't. It's there, clear as day for everybody to see and hear. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We don't wish bad on people, but under those circumstances, don't drop the soap.
And again,
Don't drop the soap, homie.
Matt has said, yes, maybe
Don't
there's
drop the
something,
soap.
Matt, to all of these players having a lot of money, having a lot of spare time. But
Disgusting.
I think this is a reflection on society. It's just a small percentage of society. And this is what's going on in society as well. And
I think it's not so much the money. I think it's just this, that sense of self-entitlement. They can get what they want and sod anyone else who says no. No isn't an answer.
Yeah.
To people who are generally people who are famous. I mean, it's not just footballers. You look at the number of actors, politicians, famous people who are in an environment where they never ever get told no. No is not an answer to them.
Yeah.
And if you're predisposed to behaviour like that, maybe you've got that part of you that is like that. That's going to bring that out of you and make the worst of it, isn't it? But yeah, I really hope they make an example of him, because he's a role model to kids. So if they don't act strongly, what message does that send to kids and young people growing up who look at this guy and see him as someone
As an
special?
idol, as their hero.
Yeah, and I just hope she gets the help she needs, and that she gets the support.
Prayers to all the victims of all of these type of abuse cases.
There's a wider issue to this, Gary, in terms of why Manchester United may have known about this, and they're taking action now that has come to light. Apparently, this is a situation that's been happening. It's months old. It's not something that just happened yesterday or over the weekend. Maybe it was going on, but it's come to light now.
Well, see, then that's where it's like, this is this could be a bigger issue for United as well. The players probably done, but the club as well needs to have some severe punishment brought on them as well if they have anything to do with any of this stuff. Knowing it or not knowing it, or knowing it and turning a blind eye to it. I mean, that's what a lot of times, right? The big corporations do. They try to cover it up, try to fix it themselves, and instead of doing it the right way, because it's not in the best interest of the victim when you do that. And you kind of have to look in the mirror sometimes, right? You got to look in the mirror and think about the other side of this thing. So it's like I said, hopefully the lady gets what she needs. Those that are at fault, they get punished, and if it's the club needs to get punished, then they should. We've seen time and time again that the clubs sometimes don't get punished, right? No matter how bad they are part of it. In this case, hopefully we'll see. Like I said, I didn't really want to talk much about anybody else's stuff. We're making sure that the lady gets what she needs.
That's it.
And
That's
the
all.
right things done to the wrong people in terms of what needs to happen going forward.
That's it. That's all we need to say, really. Disgusting behavior, and it needs to be condemned, and we condemn it here, all four of us and everyone involved with the channel. I'm sure I can speak for everyone on this matter. Footballer Brownie said, "Hi lads, news just in: Cardiff finally win a game." I know there's a mention here of.
And then now to disappoint him, you're a fan of Cardiff.
Definitely.
So you should just come over and have misery with us, because our misery is actually much better than yours. we're still in the top 6.
We're still there. We're still in
the top 6. We got no strikers. We don't even score. We got no depth.
No midfielders.
We're saving money. Yes, Stan the billionaire is saving money every month now, or every week now, right? Every month he's saving $1 million. Yay! We're all happy.
Yeah, Aubameyang is this weekend I realized that the Arsenal fan base are full of stalkers. Well,
so true.
You turned up in Dubai following Arsenal. You're a true gunner yourself.
Yeah, and there are pictures of you behind the bushes watching practice. We got them, so we'll pull them out when we need to.
I'm glad you said watching practice. I wonder where you're going with that.
No. See, now you know what? Nix that. Take it. Cut that from the videotape. All right, because I don't know where Matt was going. His dirty mind. No, that's not me.
So Gary, Donny van de Beek, as we were talking about, going to Everton, and he's going to probably get minutes there. And Lampard and Donny van de Beek have to turn that club around, because if there's any club in the Premier League that's more of a mess than Arsenal, I would say is Everton.
I think they'll do okay under Frank. I think they will get a bit of a new manager bounce. I think Donny van de Beek will actually be quite good for them. Yeah. To be honest, it's just the only thing on my mind at the moment. It's just getting players in. Oh dear, yeah. But Everton will do okay. They'll be okay. They're not going to be in any great trouble. I don't think.
Okay for them. Okay for them is maybe top 12. You know what I mean? That's where they are right now.
Yeah.
What is it? The last 2 games we saw them or whatever. So yeah, I think. Yeah, nothing to worry about us there. And that $8 million for Van de Beek does seem a little. If that's on top of the salary, that seems crazy. But
I don't know. He's rated very highly, though, isn't he, Gary? I mean, I've not seen a huge amount of him, but he's meant to be rated very highly. Like before he went to United,
ex-team.
Yeah, I know.
When we were interested in him.
Yeah, but if you don't use
we
them,
were interested.
They never used
for $8 million.
So.
It may be a good value for them in the end.
Hopefully, I guess we'll find out, right? Depending on how much he plays. If he plays for them, then we'll know that it was United.
For sure, Gary, he's going to find it a lot easier to play in that Everton team that he would in the Crystal Palace team with Conor Gallagher there. Definitely would have found it more difficult to play at Crystal Palace. Hence his decision, I think. You know what I mean? Even in their crisis, they will still beat us. That's Everton, yeah. And tracking back to Aubameyang, the last time Aubameyang kicked, I say loosely, a football in anger, was that Everton chance right at the death. Aubameyang has been paid $3 million since he last kicked the ball for Arsenal. That was that last gasp chance, Matt, against Everton. And I think that may have been the last time we're going to see him in an Arsenal shirt.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yeah, he'll be off. He's Barca bound, isn't he? I think we saw that coming a long time ago, didn't we? It was just a matter of waiting until they decided to pick him up on loan. I think it's good for everybody.
Barca and bangs.
He probably goes to Barca
and bangs goals.
He is. He's a confidence player, and he needs to feel good. I think he's one of these players that needs to be really well valued. Playing well. He's a real confidence player. If he's down on his luck, he'll just go down in a downward spiral. I think he'll get almost like a new player bounce when he goes to Barca, and he probably will do very well. He probably will do very well there. But at the moment, I mean, let's face it, the last season he's not done anything for us. He couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo. He's sulked. He's basically been a bit of a knob. For a better word of putting it. He's turned up late to training. He's done all sorts. Yeah, and it's a shame. It is a real shame because but Aubameyang in there is an absolutely fantastic footballer. We've seen what he can do for us. He's let's face it, he carried us. The FA Cup, etc. But you can only go. You're only as good as your last performance, and the last performance, and the one before that, and the several before that, and the several before that have been pretty poor. So he's no good to us now. And
where was he being played? Where was he being played in that about those several games?
He's done well out on that. He's previously done well out on that left-hand side, and he's done nothing. He was almost like a bit of a busy fool. When he was busy, there were times when he was very, very lazy and didn't do a lot as well. We've got absolutely nothing out of him, and I think you can put some of that on Arteta, but ultimately that sits on his shoulders. And I think he's quite happy to go and get his car wrapped and have fancy haircuts and pick up his paycheck until he's moved on. So I think it's better for everybody that we shift him on, continue with the youth plan, maybe in the striker position, pick up someone who's experienced, almost maybe hitting that 24, 25, 26 age range, not at the end of their career, but picking up to almost their prime, and someone who's actually banging in goals, because we need it desperately.
Yeah, we need players that would fight, players that are ambitious, players that are determined, players that want to play for the shirt, players that are humble. I made a mistake. I'm going to make it up to you. We need all of that stuff, and that's definitely not what we were getting from Aubameyang. I think so. When things got tough, he basically bailed. You know what I mean?
Matt said, he needed to be big up basically, and I thought, Matt, we did do that for him from basically the whole time, and the issues that he's brought to the table will come out, but may well have been his own issues.
But you know what? No, I mean, it's not us. It's Arteta. Arteta needs to big him up. He cuddles Xhaka.
Didn't he do that?
He doesn't cuddle. I don't think he cuddles that many players more than that you think. I mean, if he does, then why is Aubameyang the way he is? I don't think so.
Yeah.
To be fair, Gary, I mean, he played this guy and he stuck with him. He had faith in Aubameyang because, let's face it, for quite some time he wasn't playing well. Everyone was crying for him to be benched. Let's play Martinelli instead. Why is he not getting any minutes? We all sat there every week and said, Aubameyang is dire. Let's put Martinelli out there and play him instead. But no, Arteta stuck with him. He gave him game after game after game after game, opportunity to pick himself up and play himself
through the middle, play himself into form.
Never did. Never picked it up. So
those are two different things. One is pushing him out there, and the other one is bigging him up. I don't think you're getting both. I really don't. I don't think you are. I don't think he was enjoying his football, and I don't think it was because he was out there playing football. You know what I mean? All right, you're on the team sheet, so that's going to make you happy. I don't think so. For me, I think it was more mental, and that's part of being a coach and a manager, is that your players need to be mentally ready to go out there and play and give you what you ask for. So I don't. I hear what you're saying. No, I don't. Because the same thing with Pepe. Why are these guys who have a specific skill set struggling? Right?
Pepe's different though, Gary.
They're both the same
mentality. Yeah, but you say about mentality, and you're right. But Aubameyang hasn't had. It's all right saying Arteta's mentality, but he's an elite athlete. Where's his mentality? Where's his mentality to dig in, work hard, work his socks off, and put in a decent shift?
You heard the four things I mentioned about him, right? All of those are the things that he doesn't have.
Well, that's it.
Right?
And, he hid from the media. So captain doesn't come out as soon as we're losing, the chips are down, says nothing.
Yeah.
Young players come out in his stead who are 19, 20, taking on media duties. He disappears. As soon as we start playing well, he's happy, he's smiling, he's out in front of the camera. Yeah, we played really well today. Fantastic. All of this. He's nowhere to be seen. He's no. He hasn't got the mentality.
Let's get a couple of comments in here. Stan said, Aubameyang making Mesut Ozil seem like a model professional. Melvin makes a really good point on what you guys think about this one. Anyone think that Auba may not have been happy playing wide left? Even though he's not happy playing wide left, I believe he was most effective for us from that wide left position. And maybe Aubameyang wanted to play through the middle as well. I haven't seen Aubameyang since he joined Salah in that joint Golden Boot season. 22 goals. He had 2 seasons in the middle there, you see, with 22 goals. I hope to baby Jesus this wouldn't happen when he re-signed, but he's been gutless for me. Employing a false captain. Not a lot of love out there. Hard work when you get 350 a week, regardless. Mahir, he wants to jump in, and you can see the stats there. 2 seasons where he got 22 goals. He arrived under Wenger for half a season, 10 goals in half a season. Not a bad return. And then it just tails off from then. 10 goals. And this could be part of the Arteta effect that Gary, I think, is alluding to. 10 goals and 4 goals. So, Mahir?
Get Arteta out of here, please.
I think I might side with Matt, and I don't know. I'll give Gary a chance and Matt and Mahir a chance to say there's two personalities involved in the situation: the manager or coach at the time, and the player himself. I don't think you can lay the blame solely at the foot of one person. I don't know if you're framing it that way, Gary or Matt, but I'm going to let both of you have your.
I don't know. I told you what he was lacking. If that doesn't show that he's not a footballer, then I don't know what else to tell you. I tell you, those are the 4 traits he doesn't portray. He doesn't have, right? But I believe he wasn't ambitious. I don't think he's humble. He's not got the fire. He doesn't have the ambition that we want from our players, right? They don't play. He's not playing for the shirt. I mean, if he makes a mistake, I want him to say, yeah, my mistake. I'm the captain, right? Not one of our captains on the field have ever done that. When's the last time a captain has done something silly and said, "My bad, I'm sorry, I will make it up to you next time"?
I can't remember.
You see the camera panning on him, and you're like, "My bad." And I see it. I've seen it from other teams. Not everybody does it, but I think that's what we're lacking. We're missing that, right? They talk about playing for themselves, and they don't sometimes when we look. But this is a. As I always say, a total system failure. Everything is just wrong, And I just feel like they signed him up, and then they basically didn't know what they got, and they got and this is where we are right now, right? I always felt it was that they just weren't playing him right, asking him to do too much, which is kind of part Pepe's problem, I think. But I mean, those guys have skill sets, and at some point, you got to go. Why are they just not performing for us anymore? And that's it is twofold, but it is like, for me, get rid then, because they get rid of players because of all these personal issues and stuff like that. But what about when they can't play for you anymore? Right? You're just wasting your money. Right? At some point, you got to say you're not doing it for me. Like Xhaka is not doing it for us. You know what I mean? He's not. That's not the answer. What we need in the midfield. He might be a good partner for Partey. That's because you haven't actually gone out and gone better, and you can. I mean, they went out and got better on that whole back line, right?
Yes.
You look at that back line. They went out and got better. They went and got better for a goalkeeper that we already had. We had a starting goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So if you can go out and get a better goalkeeper than Leno, then you can go out and get better for everybody in front of you.
Apply that across the board, Gary. You're exactly right. Maybe Granit Xhaka is the player that's holding us back this season as well. I mean,
it's a total system failure. It's not in one person, but we need everything needs to be going in the right direction, right?
Total system failure. You say that, but we have repaired the back 5. We plugged 3 new positions in the back plus a goalkeeper. to go along with Kieran
All right, so
Tierney.
it's not really a total system failure then. It's just
just
a
everywhere
system
from
system
midfield
play.
forward. You know,
We don't have the depth on the back line that we want, right? Outside of Tavage, that's it, all right?
yeah.
In the
Hold
midfield,
it.
we barely have starters. We barely have starters in the midfield because of one availability, both injury prone and just being silly, right? But
Yep.
we can do better, definitely in one of the spots there.
Um,
The youth are the one key thing we got, but we can't depend on him, and that's why we need depth in terms of seniority and experience, right? And we don't have a
BX
striker, so I mean that goes without saying. So
BX Gunner is wondering whether he should take an hour nap before work or debate Auba. We're going to stay with Auba for about another 10 minutes because through good and bad, I think this could be the last time we really talk about Aubameyang. He's going to Barca. It's a something fulfilled that I think he told his grandparent, one of his grandparents, he wanted to play for Barcelona. So yeah, up to you, BX Gunner, but I don't want you to be tired for work. So maybe take that nap. Yeah, Matt. Gary says, and I kind of agree with him. The player didn't show up at key times. He wasn't the captain we needed him to be. He was the coolest captain around, but maybe not the best captain around.
Yeah, empty vessels make the most noise, right? But then he disappeared. Yeah, he's gone downhill. He signed the contract and then he disappeared. He said, "Thank you very much for my nice 250 grand a week. I can sit back now, use it to wrap my cars and have funky haircuts. And thank you very much." Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think it's assembled in the chat. Yes, you can have different personalities, different people to contend with in the team, and yes, you have to be flexible. Yes, you have to be able to manage, but you have to have certain non-negotiables, as he says. As Arteta mentions. You can't have this situation, which I used to really I love Arsene Wenger, right? So, but one of the things I didn't like about his man management was the fact that he used to give special dispensation to players like Özil, and it used to create this kind of real problem within the team, and that's why we tend to see the issues with players like that, and why we ended up having a right old issue trying to get rid of him and his laziness, etc. And it's the same thing with Aubameyang. If you give him that kind of freedom, he's going to take the proverbial take the piss. Right? And if he has it, at the end of the day, everyone has to toe the line on certain things. You can't just pick and choose players who, you're all right, you can get away with this, that, and the other because you're the captain. You're cool, you got a funky haircut, you're earning the most at the club. So we'll let you get away with certain things. But hey, everybody else, no, you don't get away with that. That's not how it works. And if you start moving the line.
Perhaps that's the beginning of it all when Arsene Wenger pulled off that coup and brought Ozil in January. I think maybe it was August. I'm not sure. It was August. It was at the end of the summer window. We took Ozil, and yes, special treatment for the star child at the time, and that's when we thought maybe the standards were loosening a bit. Doesn't make sense to say we needed to get rid of the whole squad, and we're halfway there. BX Gunner, we have certainly stripped down the house to the bare foundation right now. And as Gary, I think, mentioned earlier in the podcast, what happens now? Are we going for top four or not? If we get top four, are we prepared to stretch our squad? Our squad can't stretch across four competitions, Champions League, 2 cups in the league next season. Are we serious about going for top four? We've got a lot of work to do.
I mean, this is even worse than my thinking. You know what? Europe is okay. I don't need Champions League just yet. And everybody going, no. We need to go for Champions League, right? And set up your squad accordingly. Well, Arsenal went totally different. They went backwards, right? We are not even set up basically for regular. We're not even set up for just league play right now. For me, much less cup games on top of that. 2 cup games on top of that, and then maybe a European match. Nah, we're nowhere close to that. And can we, like I said, we were 10 people away before, and where we are now. I mean, I think we're close. We're still 10. I think we're 12. I would rather. I mean, think about it. Who would you rather have kept from the players that we still have on the squad? I would rather have kept Chambers and Maitland-Niles than Cedric and El Neni. Right? If I'm talking about midfield and stuff like that, like because they can give me more. All right, and I don't think Arteta never used them, which I think is part of the problem because supposedly we can't use the players on our bench to maybe spell some of our other players, which makes no sense either, right? Like we talk about Xhaka needing, Pepe needing, Saka needing some breaks. That's why you have Pepe.
Gary,
right?
It should be easier to remember your players now. There's a lot less of them.
You know what? I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused where they are, and yeah.
Do you know what
I couldn't resist.
It should be easier, but like I said, we need like 10 players, and it would be nice to get 1 or 2 now, and then maybe we'll get 6 in the summer again. I don't see that happening. I think we're going to be lucky to get 6. We're lucky to get 6 by the start of the season, based on the way that we work and based on who's available. I was laughing because there's 2 things that I saw on Twitter. One was that Dijon guy who's going to Spurs, I think it is, right? On his way out, one of his last comments was he would love to be back with Juve. That's one of his comments. he can see himself back with Juve. He hasn't even gotten a plane yet.
That's brilliant.
And he actually said that on camera. And then the last thing I saw here is Aubameyang might be willing to take a pay cut or even play for free.
Yeah, I mean, it is Aubameyang. This is the club he wanted to have as part of his career, going to Barcelona. I think he told his grandfather he wanted to play with Barca eventually. He got the tattoo in Barcelona. You can't tell me he turned up at Barcelona without somehow meeting behind the scenes some Barcelona officials agitating for this move. Whether he was doing wrong intentionally so that Arteta would take this action against him, it'll all come out in the end. We'll know in the end.
Amazon shall tell us.
Let's hone in on the time Auba was here. So he's been here across 4 managers now. Real quickly, Aubameyang comes in under Wenger. He was the second striker signed in that season, 2017-18, 6 months after Lacazette came. As like I said, great player, 10 goals. He was on fire, 22 goals the next season. And then through Emery's tenure as well, the 2018-2019 season, I think it was, 22 goals, and then halfway through Emery's tenure, maybe half of those 22 goals as well. And then first 6 months, Arteta comes along, refashions, rejigs the squad, uses the leadership in the team. David Luiz, in my opinion, these kind of players got us to the FA Cup final, won the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. So, yeah, those are the high points, Matt, under Aubameyang. Downhill since then.
Yeah, it's like I said, no one can take away the fact that he dragged us through a season, really, and kind of, that FA Cup run, fantastic. I think all Arsenal fans will be grateful for the goals and the performances he has put in, but you just can't ignore the fact that since he signed his contract, it's just been downhill ever since. Mm-hmm. And he's been given plenty of opportunity to play. He's been given plenty of opportunity to kind of stand up and be a model professional and pull his socks up and kind of bring things back to where he usually is. He's been given the chance, and all he's done is shown that he's not up for the fight and that he's not there. His mind's elsewhere. It's on Barca or haircuts or cars, or whatever it is.
Lambos.
He's not. Yeah, he's just not committed, I don't think, to really putting a shift in for us. And if that's the case, then thank you for all your good times, but it's now time to shift you on. And let's get somebody else in.
The time to really knuckle down is you win the FA Cup, you have a lot of fun lifting the trophy, and you need a little bit more practice in lifting the FA Cup, dropping part of it. But, Gary, the highs and lows of Aubameyang, and then we can get off the topic. I don't think you want to linger on Aubameyang, right?
No, I mean, I think, well, it's been as much as he's had a good football with Arsenal, right? The first 2.5 years, the last year and a half, basically have been yuck, right? Basically, so I mean, yes, and we got 2 trophies out of it, so that was good. And then when changes happened, this is where we are. No, I don't. Yeah, he was good at what he was doing then. Things have changed.
Single-handedly winning the cup for us, winning 2 goals against City in the semi-final, 2 goals against Chelsea.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, he scored it, but he was put in positions to score, right? So he wasn't making an interception and taking the ball in, but he was getting put in positions to succeed, which is what I want Arteta to do: put his players in and make it easy for them and stuff like that. But he's asked them to do different things, and he's not willing to do them. So we'll see. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's been a year and a half now, right? It's not working.
Year and a half we've been waiting. BX going to put a couple of good comments in there. When Drew has more goals than you, it shows that Auba wasn't world class, even though Giroud was there longer.
Ouch.
I love Giroud. We should have kept him.
How many goals does Giroud have?
Did he? I think he got over 100. I'm not sure.
Over 100, yeah.
I think Giroud, he's gone into that elite club of 100 plus. Theo Walcott's in there as well. BX also said, I can't give an ambitious answer for a manager when the Cronkies own Arsenal. And Gunnar Glenn said,
"Yeah, I mean they're not ruthless enough to make a change like that, and that's actually not in their that's not the way they work, right? Everybody said it multiple times. If you look at the Rams, you look at any of the other teams, they don't just go out there and necessarily go out there and maybe get the best manager. Go out there and get somebody who's young and is trending upwards.
It does seem to be their mantra, right, Gary?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, they always try to compare the Rams to Arsenal in terms of the hiring. Arteta was not, and I repeat this, was not the best assistant manager coach in world football. You know what I mean? He was not considered up there in the top 5, 10, whatever number you want to call it, in terms of an up-and-coming assistant manager. He just happened to be next to one of the best ones. I mean, that's the difference. The Rams were out there and got what some would consider one of the best prospects for a head coach at the time.
We shall see. We shall see if he takes them all the way.
He's already gone to a Super Bowl, and he wins today. He goes to another one. So
he went to the Super Bowl. He didn't win it.
I didn't. I want to go to a final, a big final, right? All right, European final with Arteta.
Yeah.
I'll take it. We haven't done that yet. Yeah.
I want to win it.
So it's not the same comparison.
I want to go there and win it.
You can't say you want to go there and win it and not. You got to first. You got to get there, right? That's got to be a part of the goals. That when you put your goals in, I need to be able to make it to a final. Yes, the ultimate goal is to win everything. But as you told me, we don't. That's not a good way to think sometimes.
Well, I want to do it.
Your top goal is to win everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you can look at the other step and go back and look at the season you had and say, you know what, we made it to a final. You know, we won a cup, right? We finished top 4. We finished top 6. Whatever the case may be, you know, you've got different things you can look at and say, is this a good season or not?
Stick around, everyone. We do have another hour or so of this. We are going to talk about Isak. Of course, we got to talk about Isak. And the length that our fans seem to go to. Mahir, you're responsible.
Isaac's just a country singer. I think
Chris Isak.
I think he might have had his own show and stuff at one point. So
I like a bit of Chris Isak, and we'd like to see some of that at the Emirates as well. Mahir, do you want to? And great to see Wamuka here, Julius in here. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Would love that. It is free content right here.
Yeah.
Mahir, you're going to get your last chance to talk about Aubameyang, the highs and lows.
Man, I hope he goes to Barcelona and bangs. I honestly hope so. My younger brother Wasim is actually an avid Barcelona supporter. And look, do Arsenal have a chance of winning trophies this season?
No.
Nothing.
That's a rhetorical question.
Next season, right? Next season, I think that's just like a little typo. I'm going to go with that.
We will talk about Isak. We will let you know if we think he's coming as well. Mahir, highs and
Yeah, but
lows.
like I was saying, let's. I would just like to thank Auba. If it was his last game, wish him well. I hope he goes to Barcelona and actually goes and bangs it for the last remainder of his career, man. Gonna Glenn, be safe, my bro.
He's
Be
going to
safe
catch us for the
on your way there.
second half is going to be some good stuff, you know. Aubameyang. Anyway, Mahir.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say though. Like, he was a quality player for us. I just wish we could have, in the earlier days, have kept some of the classier players and and build around him. I would have loved to see, for example, if Santi had stayed a little bit longer, if Alexis had been around. I mean, like a squad of Alexis, Santi, Auba. Like, oh my days. Maybe even a Mesut Ozil. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that.
Okay, so that's it on Aubameyang. Thanks for the memories. It does look like you're moving on, and Gary, we want more committed. He seemed to have fell into the fat and happy category of a footballer. Helen's asking, what's the definition of world class? I mean, to everybody, it means something a little bit different to everybody. Gary, what's your definition of world class? To me, it's probably the top 6 players in the world. That's what I would.
I mean, right now, if you're comparing them to Messi and Ronaldo, like if you're then and Lewandowski, then yeah, right. There's not too many players that were even talk. I mean, even Messi, not even playing, is still probably considered or So yeah, I think it's you got to be considered with some of the best that are out there. And next year, who knows if we're going to see, who's going to be around. But yeah, world class, like you said, 6 maybe. I think there's probably 10 world class because I think if you just pick a position on the field, you probably can get 11 players that are considered world class: goalkeepers, defenders. I mean, Van Dijk's a world class defender, right?
11 goalkeepers.
Right. No, 11 players.
Okay, gotcha.
At least 11 players.
I think we should.
You can find a world class player at every position, and then there might be some doubles. Right.
We should do that when the coming podcast. Pick a world class first 11. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that would be very, very interesting.
Matt, isn't it? This is a good question from Assemble, isn't it? Aubameyang's best times at Arsenal had Ozil in the team. Is that coincidence?
In the team, okay.
Pre Arteta, maybe, right?
I don't know. I think Ozil was an exceptional creative talent, so there is probably some truth in that in terms of being fed really good opportunities on the play. He has to work a little bit harder in this team to be able to be fed, I suppose. It's not going to come as easy to him as it was when you got someone like an Ozil who was an exceptional talent at being able to pick him out in very awkward spaces, etc. So there probably is a little bit of an element of truth in that, and there probably is some validity in that, I think. But, look, if you're an elite player, you're meant to be world class, you're meant to be a talisman, you find a way to score goals to whatever system you're in.
Yeah.
Yes, in that team he may have performed his best because Virgil and having, chances fed to him on a plate. But look, that changes. Management changes, systems changes. You need to be able to change with the times, change with what's being asked of you, and still be able to bang in the goals. That is what makes you a world-class, top-class player. That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah. Matt, I think you would agree no players under Arteta have gone on to levels above. The team has been stagnant.
It's different. It's difficult because we've seen so much change. We've seen a lot of new players come in. We've seen a lot of players shifted out. I think of all the players that have maybe stayed with us and have been part of that process, so to speak, from the beginning and have stayed with it. You look at your Sakas and Emil Smith-Rowe. I think they have gone on to improve. Emil Smith-Rowe has added goals and position into his game, getting into those dangerous places and actually putting the ball away, and actually taking the shot rather than just creating for others. Saka's definitely come on. But it's difficult because, a lot of these players are new. And of the players that were there, let's face it, a lot of them are disappearing off the radar very, very quickly. They're being sold. There's no two ways about it. I think he's shifting everybody that was kind of pre his era, he's pretty much shifted and getting rid of. You know, he wants a clean start. I think he wants his own team from start to finish. And I think we're seeing that with his approach to the transfer window. We're getting rid of everybody else. There's not many of them left.
Yeah, we have really done that. Do Arsenal have a chance of winning trophies this season? Okay, we covered that one. Yeah, tongue in cheek, tongue firmly in cheek. I think. Gary, I feel if Isak and Odegaard can recreate their link, it'll be exciting. I have titled this cat. We're going to go on to talk about Isak now. Isak in the city. A little play on Sex in the City. You like it, Gary? No.
Nah, not really. I mean,
Do you like the play?
You know what? Arsenal just waters down everything. I'm not even going to be happy if they sign
don't make
anybody
it fun,
tomorrow.
do they?
No, think about it. I feel like I've been beat up so much. I'm not going to feel them as much as I want. I'll be happy with the signing, but it won't be the same. You know what I mean? I think I don't believe there's any reason for it to be dragged out this long. You know, if they're doing their job, right? At some point, you have to look at your number. You look at the situation and go, you know what? These are our options. Let's go get these things done. Isak, done. All right, just go get it done. We need a midfielder. Go get it done. If there isn't any, then you move on and you say you're done. But I think there's more than enough players out there they can go in and at least build up the squad, if not get starters, right? So for me, I mean, is Isak even a starter when he gets here? Right? Is he a starter immediately when he gets here? No, immediately. So you expect to see him signed, and then the next time we play, he's playing.
I can't say my hand on heart that he's going to share
That's
minutes.
What I mean. That's what I mean. He is not. He's not Dusan. He's not like a Grammage, or whatever his name is, right?
Grammarish.
Bruno, right? There's certain players we needed starters in certain positions, and they went after some of them.
If you tell me, Gary, if you ask me if he's going to start against Wolves in the first weekend or whatever it is of February, then I'd have to say no. I'd have to say he'll be on the bench. Lacazette will start. We maybe get a foothold in that game, and we bring him on with 20 minutes, 25 minutes to go. I wouldn't just throw him in away to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Why not?
Because of the Premier League, the rigors of the Premier League.
And I see that's so for me. I mean, that's why
Newcastle will start Bruno, no problem.
Yeah,
you can't compare the two teams that way.
They're in a position where they have to.
Bottom end of the table, the other's at the top end of the table.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I wanted starters if I could get them. That's kind of what we needed. Yeah, I wanted a starter, not a he will be starter. I want a starter. I wanted starters. I don't know what you guys wanted. I would have liked to have gotten starters in this window. If we're not, we're going to get depth, or in this case, it looks like future.
Well, let me flip it on you then, Gary. Would you start Isak away to Wolves?
I just said I wouldn't. That's why I asked you the question, because I wasn't.
We signed him. Are you starting him?
I don't think Arteta will, and I don't think he can. Right? I mean, no. I would have liked. Yeah, that's why I wanted. You know, this. Isak is a future player, right? If you go kind of look at your strikers and what you want, for me, the three, and we talked about this on Thursday, right? Isak or Jonathan David would be the future. You know, DCL would be our now, and then Jimenez would be our, you know, kind of our glue to make sure to keep things going when we need to go and lean on some seniority. You know what I mean? That's what you would like to have in a squad if you can. It's not always perfect. It doesn't always work that way, but that's what I would like to see. But yeah, and you see teams do that. They bring in some 29, 30-year-old player to come in and support them when they're at a certain point in their setup. We are far from that, but it'd be nice to have it, right? It'd be nice to have it. So, yeah.
This is Matt. This is the thing here, and I don't blame the fans. I blame the club in the last 10, 15 years because we have traumatized our fans. Some of us are starting to believe again, and some of us are cautious to believe. As Jeff says here at the stand, What does there explain? He's finished eighth 2 seasons in a row without any signings. He'll probably finish seventh or eighth again. Yet the evidence will show for half a season we've got 36 points, a little bit over half a season. We're well on the way, I believe, to a high 60-point finish.
Yeah, look, let's face it. It's a club we've been in decline for a long time. This isn't just 2 or 3 seasons. We're not suddenly Arteta's taken over and suddenly we're finishing 8th and it's all terrible. And now we're starting to see a little bit of a lift. This has been a long time coming where we've kind of had that dip to finish kind of 8th twice. I mean, you look at Liverpool, for example. I mean, I'll just bring it up. They were in a very average place for a number of years. They went through a very similar cycle until the last couple of years with Klopp. They were finishing 6th, 7th, 8th for a number of years. Massive club, big resources, but finishing very much almost where we are now or where we have been the last couple of seasons. I strongly believe that, we are on the up. We are going to see, a kind of an upward curve, but it's not going to be a 1 or 2 season process. This is going to be something that's really, when Arteta took over, this was a 5 years, I think. Realistically, it is. It's going to be a 5-year project before we're starting to be truly competitive. The first 3 years, we might get some resemblance of actually being competitive. So we might be, getting a good cup run and winning maybe a couple of domestic cups. We might be pushing 3rd in the table. But truly, to actually start winning a league title, I think you're looking, we're probably 2 years into a 5-year cycle, realistically.
And look, Liverpool fans will know how difficult it has been fighting with Manchester City. They got 1 league title out of the last 5 years. Realistically, they could have gotten a 2nd or 3rd. But they haven't done it. We tussled with United over the years, and we got more than 1 title. So we will always be comparing generations like that. Arsenal always come from left field with the ass backwards dealings. Mahir, Isak, listen, we're buying. We're probably going to go to Isak, but we're going to pay for a lot of potential, and potential doesn't score you goals, Mahir.
We've been making this mistake since a long time. Sound like a broken record, but when you need signings, sign damn players that you need. If somebody says to you 40 million, pay 40 million.
You're slowing down like
No,
Arsenal in the month of January, slowing down to a full stop.
Do you know what?
My goodness, man. Because these people are so frustrating. They're so damn frustrating. If you need a deal to be done, now, okay, Vlahovic went to Juventus. Surely that money that you're going to offer, go and get a midfielder that we need. Go and get a striker if we need a striker.
The thing is,
it's really not rocket science.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe this, but the club believes we're sorted in midfield. The club believes this. We got Xhaka, we got Partey. We're sorted in midfield. That's what the club is thinking right now. I'm going to tell
How can you take that seriously?
I'm
How
smiling.
can you even? No, how can you even? No, I mean, like you said, it's actually probably true that they believe that they've actually told us we don't need to go out and get midfielders. They actually told us that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got midfielders.
Not in January. They're not going to do it in January.
No, they said that coming into the season. They don't need to go out and get midfielders. They've got Xhaka and Partey, who were unreliable either because of injuries or just I don't think one has the quality, and two, there's a card in there. There's always a card in there.
Yep.
I don't. If that's not reliability, and those are supposed to be leaders on the squad. That's another reason. That's like another. You know what? Boom. This is another issue, right? This is why we really can't take them seriously because don't even say it. Don't say that you're set at midfield, please.
That's what they feel.
You're lying to us, and
Mahir is there expecting midfield signings tomorrow. Don't expect that, Mahir.
Bruh, how are we supposed to even take one step forward? If we're going to have the same squad,
he's eating great.
Same manager,
You're eating grapes. Are you crushing grapes
Just
for
finish.
Edu?
King Mahir eating grapes.
He's crushing
on his ground.
grapes for Edu's wine and cheese.
You're
That's what
crushing grapes for Edu's wine and cheese.
No, Edu has to wash my feet and do all of that.
And you
Yeah,
supply
yeah,
him wine.
Edu, come
You
here.
supply him.
What are you
South
doing?
African, the best South
Go
African
and do the
wine.
dishes, Edu.
Stan and Jeff are going back and forth. I think saying that Mikel Arteta is not bothered where finish is just yet. Finish is just, well, do I even have to warrant that with an answer? Come on, man. And Jeff thinks that Arteta flew out to Denver just to talk about his extension. I believe he also talked about mandating sending Aubameyang, clearing the wage structure so we could go and pay that release clause. And it's a lazy way to do it. It is. Because Arsenal, Gary, they're terrible at negotiating.
Yeah, man.
The easiest thing.
And that's the thing. It's like go out there and get somebody who can do the job, right? This is the same squad. I keep saying it here again. Leno was not that bad, right? He wasn't that bad, right? He had his flaws, but he wasn't that bad. But they said, no. We can do better. Guess what, Arsenal? You can do better. Get somebody in here who can actually close a deal and actually can sell Arsenal to the next person, right? Right now, the squad does not have credibility in the transfer windows, right? No team comes into an Arsenal dealing and goes,
No.
"Oh crap! What are we going to have to give up for this? For this to go through?" Right? They don't think that they go in smiling, going, "How much are we going to make off these fools?" Right? That's kind of where I feel like they don't have the credibility to go into these discussions and actually get what they want out of it, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they don't have a good plan, because there are players that they could get out there and they cost a certain amount. I mean, are all the deals that just have happened over the last week not something Arsenal could have used on their squad? You know what I mean? Not one of those. I mean, I get not everyone, but at least one of them we could have used that player, right?
For sure.
Bruno should have been an easy one.
They have a plan. They have a plan. They're going to stick to it. Whatever that plan is, we're not privy to it either.
It's a stupid plan, as what's his name says from the Marvel. I don't care. It's a stupid plan.
And as Alex has said from Cannon Fodder, I don't recognize the club that I started supporting. I do not recognize the same
very,
club.
Very different. Yeah, very different.
Generationally different. Matt, Jeff said, Edu said in an interview with Sky Sports, I don't want to finish 4th, 6th, or 10th. But if you
where does he want to finish? 12th or 16th?
I know. What does that mean?
Because it certainly isn't top 3.
5th, 7th, 9th.
Do you know what, Ray? This window to me feels like we came into the window with a house that had a bit of a leaky roof. The doors were a bit dodgy. The windows were leaking and letting water in. We were just about getting by, and it was just about habitable. We've walked out over a weekend, come back. They've taken the roof, they've taken the windows, they've taken the doors. The whole house is gone, and we're just left with the foundations. And they've gone, do you know what? The landlord's gone, do you know what? It's okay. You've got sleeping bags. You can sleep there. That's okay. That'll do. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like, it's like, hang on, we had barely enough to get by as it was. Now we've sold everything, and now we've just got 17 players left or something.
That's it. We've stripped it back to the bare bones. Stan, intent and actually doing it is two different, entirely different things. He had intent and successfully got Xhaka to sign a new contract. There's a difference in both of those actions. This manager, I'm telling you, he will live and die on the Xhaka, the hill of Xhaka. Edu isn't the manager. Tony said he's been delayed, but he's very much delayed. Jeff, how do you know he was in Denver for contract extensions? Don't get brainwashed by the in the nose. Obviously, a lot of things were discussed. It didn't look from the video that they were speaking very, very much.
I doubt they were going to do their business discussions in the middle of a game. Right, so it's not even worthy of a comment, right? Come on, right? Let's move on. Like they did it, I assume, behind closed doors. If they even had a discussion.
We hope so. We hope
No,
so.
I think they had a discussion, Gary. You know what the discussion was? Arteta to take over
Who you
as the
again?
new. Nah, Arteta to take over the Rams.
Just our new offensive coordinator.
Job swap.
He's like-
Job swap between McVay and Arteta. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, McVay to Arsenal. That's the new one.
Do you know what though? I could see loads of comments about being out of Europe again. Potentially that being the case. Do you know what though? We've weakened our squad so much. I mean, either we've got madness coming tomorrow, but let's face it, if we do finish in a position where we are kind of competing for Europe, we've got a hell of a lot of work to do in the summer to bring players.
That's why you have to do it now.
I know. But you do get to thinking: are they trimming the wage budget? Are they getting rid of a load of deadwood ready for summer? They kind of think, well, look, okay, we'll be short for the rest of the season. We might buy one or two signings now, nothing major, but we'll wait and hold on till the summer. If we finish sixth, fine. We're okay with that, but summer's when we're going to go for it. But we're going to prep ourselves financially to have a big outlay then and get the players we want. Is that their plan?
I know. Put the
yeah.
banner up again,
But then
Matt.
it goes against that, doesn't it? I suppose.
Arteta's own words: we must maximize every window. Maximizing to me is improving your team.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know
can
what?
do that.
There we go. You know what? You say that, but I recall maybe not anybody here, but I recall many people saying, I'll just be happy if Arsenal went out and got rid of all their players, right?
Yes.
That's what people said. People have said this would be a good window, right? Just get out all the deadwood, get out all the drugs, get out all the players that we aren't going to play anyways. Get them all out.
We've got those out, Gary, right? But a good window is somebody coming in.
I'm just telling you, they didn't care about the incomings.
It's got to be both ways.
I hear you. I'm just telling you. Maybe Arteta was listening. You know what? Arsenal's always a day late, right? A window late, a game late, a minute late. This is it. They're just a couple windows late of getting rid of everything, right? Starting fresh and new, which I don't understand. That is not a recipe for success.
Right? And look, I'm not really following the chat room because that's an animal of itself. Hopefully you're all respectful of each other. This is what Arsenal is doing, Matt. We're having discussions. We're disagreeing a little bit in terms of where the club is going, and we can't quite see it right now. I'll tell you what, on Tuesday morning, it'll be crystal clear what's happening, right?
Yeah, it's very difficult right now because we just don't know. There doesn't seem. I mean, there's a very clear plan to get rid of deadwood, which, by the way, actually, although we're moaning about no incomings coming in, I don't disagree with shifting those players out of the club because actually we've done quite well in doing that. So we're getting rid of a lot of those players that, we're never getting games, we're kind of hangers on. We needed to clear out if we were going to really go for it in the summer. That's all well and good, but we do have to replace and strengthen, because we were lacking in quality depth anyway. And when you haven't even got the poor ones to call upon, it's a bit of a sticky situation. So I'm really hoping that tomorrow, I'm going to hold out, not go too crazy, and I'll go crazy and I'll be a nervous wreck, but I'm not going to go too mad about not having incomings until we actually get to the point where the window's shut, because you just never know what's going to happen. I would personally be very surprised if we don't see anybody come in. It would be mad. I mean, we talk about Isak though being a potential option. Just looking at some of his stats, and he scored this season.
Reading.
No, and there were comments about him. Is he just going to be another Shamak or whatever? And although that's a funny comment, the reality is, I mean, he's had 18 matches this season. He's played 18, scored 4, and assisted 1.
Yeah,
nothing great.
No,
last season he played 34, scored 17, and assisted 2. That's kind of Lacazette territory on a good year.
Yeah.
The year before that, 37 games, 9 goals, and 1 assist. I mean,
but he is young.
I know, but we're paying potentially £90 million for this player.
We're paying 90 million
territory.
euros. not. I hate to make the distinction. 90 million euros will be 77.
I was going to say now.
You know, is that
77 million
any, I
pounds.
know, but that's a hell of a lot of money when
Yeah.
you're comparing him to the likes of Vlahovic, whose you know stats were way beyond that. You know, I'd be worried about that signing. I mean, yes, he might be a great prospect, and I'm sure there's a lot of very talented scouts out there and people who really know their stuff and see a lot in him. But looking at that on paper, you just think, would I pay 30 million for him at this point?
I'm going to say to you, Matt, every transfer you make is a risk.
It is, but you need to have some kind of evidence there that he's going to be the player you need. And we're, you know, let's face it, we're looking for a target man. We're looking for a proven player who can compete in this league, hit the ground running, and score goals like no tomorrow. We're not buying a second striker. We're buying a main man.
Yeah.
So yeah, whilst that, if we were replacing Lacazette or Nketiah, fine, this guy would be great. But if we're replacing Aubameyang and we're looking for a guaranteed 22 to 25 goals a season, now he's not our guy. We need someone who's going to hit the ground running now. So I personally, looking at that, wouldn't say he's the right guy unless he's going to be a secondary purchase to someone that we're actually going to replace Aubameyang with, i.e. a proven striker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know if you saw Melvin Mark's comment there. In terms of Arsenal right now has the opportunity to finish top 4, right? But they're missing some things, right? We're missing some items on our list to get to top 4 and not necessarily guarantee us, but get us the best odds to get there, right? So this is, to me, the way we play as well. Sometimes we'll look at the way the game's going, and we're like, you know what? If we continue to put pressure on the right side of their defense, guess what? They're going to fold. And what happens? We kind of stop and go to the other side, and we never really come back to it, and we kind of miss the opportunity in the window to go out there and punish a player who's struggling against us. And eventually they get pulled, and so that the opportunity's gone. This is a similar thing, right? We are that close, right? We can taste top 4. We're missing some support in the midfield. We're missing some support up top. So let's go out there and get it, right? This is when you spend that extra money that you wouldn't have really planned for, right? Because you know what? We are depleted, and we are going to need to revamp and reload. Go out there and do it. You're going to have to spend the extra cash and get it, all right? And like you said, Isak is a 4-goal scorer right now.
He's got the same stats as Aubameyang, basically, but
but I mean, Aubameyang hasn't played as much as he has. But not only that, but we're saying it's going to be tougher to play. It's going to be tougher to play in the Premier League. So his 4 goals for the first half of the season are what? 2, right? Dusan scored what? He was like 17 of 18 games or something like that. If you were lucky to get 9 out of him for the rest of the season, you'll be happy with that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Aubameyang gave us his first time around.
If Isak would come for these 17 games, I would want about 7 goals from him.
Yeah, and right now he's got 4 for half a season.
Yep.
In a weaker league in terms of.
But maybe he doesn't have a Martinelli, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, or essentially Ødegaard, who knows him, and they've played together. And you better believe Ødegaard has been on the phone talking to Isak as well and trying to use his influence again to come to Arsenal as well. I believe, anyway.
I hope so. I mean, we should be. If we have players that talk, and that should be definitely one of the options, right?
And this is why I always had confidence in this happening, because of the Ødegaard link and because of our inability to negotiate properly. And there is a release clause there, which is Arsenal's fail-safe, and I believe Arteta did talk to Big Stan about that. Getting some cash.
You don't know what he talked about. Come on, stop it.
They talk about everything. Come on, stop it. They're buddies.
Know.
They don't talk
about any. No.
Lines of communication are always open.
I don't believe you.
I can take my phone and call Stan right now.
I bet you couldn't.
Not me personally.
Stan doesn't have his cell phone. Come on. Did you see the video? He had the old guy sending his texts, man, next to him, right? He doesn't even know what is that over there. What is that contraption you've got there?
He has carrier pigeons, Gary. He has carrier pigeons.
The flip phone. All right, here.
He has speckled Jim.
Maher, I gotta go. I gotta go to you next, Maher, because you represent this generation. You represent this young generation that's able to find. You're able to find anybody in the city, anywhere, any place. You've got networks. You're able to match license plates to football stars in the city.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did you make of that yesterday? The Arsenal spy network was able to locate 15 AAK registration close to the Emirates.
Let's not get too excited. Was it Stan that said, "Don't get too excited. If it's a duck and it looks like a duck, it's a duck."
Alex.
Wait till the Arsenal player is actually holding the jersey up, because London, you must understand, is one of the main. Don't be fooled by all the smoke and mirrors. It was Alex. Believe it, when the players hold up the jersey, until then, if it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it's a duck.
Maybe I want a duck.
So I heard Alex's voice.
Then I got what I wanted. If I wanted a duck, then it works, right?
And I heard Alex's voice.
Can we not at least have a beautiful swan for once rather than a duck?
But understand, guys, a lot of players go to and from London for shopping and stuff as well. Like, who was it that we saw? Remember Zaha was in a club and then it said moving to Arsenal or something to do with Arsenal, and he was pointing at it. Something, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the African Cup of Nations. He was there. Jeff is becoming disillusioned with Arsenal. We can't blame you, Jeff, because this is what you either feel somewhere between 4th or 10th with Arsenal right now. I'm not even sure what the hell the Conference League is. You don't want to be in it. I don't believe Arsenal will.
So the Assembles comment.
Another cup the Spurs can't win.
No, I can't like that comment enough.
You know what? I hope we don't have to know what that is. Okay. Yeah. I think we were, some of us were distraught when we had to know what Europa League was, right? And then we realized, wait, is this something worse than Europa League? It's nothing. Yeah. So, Conference League, hopefully we don't have to use it. But like for me, if we're talking about we're still 3 years out, it's probably a plus, right? Because now you don't have to. Now you can put your young players in and get them to play in the Conference League. Whether they win or lose, it doesn't really matter. But you get them some games out there against some adults.
Europa
right?
League. You said Europa League, right?
I meant, you know what I meant. I meant that other league, the Conference League, where the dogs do it on the field and all that. So, but if you're gonna we keep talking about this 3-year, 5-year plan, right?
No, you do.
I never said a 5-year plan. I said. I think you know what? I think you try to get the best out of what you got, right? This year we didn't have Europa League, so that meant we should have gotten a squad that could deal with Premier League, right? I don't think we did that. Last season we got Europa League. I thought, okay, well, now we have a squad to utilize Europa League. We didn't use that. The young kids didn't get to play in that, and I think that probably set us back. Because think about if you played those youth in those Europa League games against Dundalk and all of that, maybe they turn out to be players that you can have in your squad. Maybe, all right? We didn't do it, so now we're always a step behind, I believe.
Don't disrespect Dundalk. Disrespect Mold.
Dundalk is, I think, is a lower league than whatever you just. What was that? Whatever these teams' name. Anyway,
Mulder,
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. So, but I kind of feel like what this is. We need to take advantage of what we've got, and if a Conference League comes up, we got to utilize it the best way we can for the youth. We keep talking about the youth, and eventually they're not going to want to stay if they see something that doesn't look right. That's the other problem with this whole situation is they're staying today, There's loyalty and then there's like stupidity, right? At some point, you know what, this is silly what I'm doing here, what these guys are doing here. They don't really. We're going downhill, right? We're just getting worse and worse and worse, right? Hopefully, we can turn it around. I've been waiting for this like trend back upwards again, right? And finish up. Hopefully, we'll finish up better than we were last time.
It's one of those that you can't see when you zoom into the time frame. You can't see it right now, but if you zoom out, you'll be.
You
able
can't
to
see anything right now that leads you to believe that we're going to be much better as the season progresses. There's nothing that you saw in the last 18, 19 games that leads you to believe that going forward we're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
I don't, and that's kind of, I just tell you what I see, and I don't see it. Like, I like to say, you know what? Well, you know what? Zombie is going to be so much better. We won't miss him. We won't miss anybody in the midfield if he plays it. He's still got some time. Devaj still has his little hiccups, right? So, that's going to be a struggle. Pepe hasn't shown it yet all season because he doesn't get the time. So if we have to, if everything runs perfectly, right, I think we're fine. That's the problem. Nothing always goes perfectly. But, maybe it does for us. Maybe the next 17 games we'll have the same 11 players out there, maybe 9 players out there, depending on how you look at it. And we'll be okay, all the better for it. So we'll see.
We'll get into that in just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about Isak. Yes, Gary, what did you make of that yesterday? The Arsenal fan base is unrivaled, or is it? Are we unrivaled in that?
I don't think anybody else is out there scoping out future players wherever they are. I mean, Isak
he turns up in London.
Yeah, he's in London. His car is next to the stadium. Some people have too much time on their hand. I mean,
wasn't that car number plate a doctor's number plate? I'm sure I saw that. It wasn't a surgeon's.
Yes, all of that, Matt, could be somebody trolling. Hey, my neighbor, can I borrow your car? I'll go drive around Emirates and have the picture taken.
You would, wouldn't you? You would. Come on, you would.
Swedish doctor, but Isak's in London. I have to believe he's in London. He's waiting if this thing will happen tomorrow. That he's there. He's ready to take the medical and do all of that stuff. That's me. Everything's there. The release clause is there. So let me have it.
No.
The Arsenal fan base delusional is unrivaled.
Yeah, no, we definitely are that. I mean,
you're as optimistic as me. We are coming 10th.
Yeah, like I said, I want to see I want to feel like we're going to do really well. Things have to run so perfectly for us, right? So perfectly for us. I mean, here's the thing: if Martinelli, Saka, and Emil Smith-Rowe, and even Ødegaard, if they're like sitting with double-digit either goals or assists, you pick which one. Each one of them has to get one of those. Then we got top 4.
Yeah.
That's where they're trending right now. Easily,
Isaac can get 4 or 5 goals. Isaac can get 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah.
A good central striker should be scoring goals, but if he works, Matt, in that system, if he's providing assists for Saka and Martinelli either side of him, then it will work. It will work for the remainder of the season, right?
Yeah, I think so. The thing
and
is,
you can still get 4 goals in 12 games.
Which player? Sorry,
Isak, if he comes.
4 goals by the end of the season.
If he gets 4 goals, that's not going to determine where we finish. If he works in that system like
he doesn't even feel confident he'll get 4 goals in 17 games. You nodded your head. I'm going with that first.
Going by this season and his current form, playing for the team he's currently playing for, like you said, Gary, 4 goals in 18 matches. Yeah. That's real Sociedad, in a weaker league. We talk about this adaptation period. Yes, he's played with Ødegaard before. Fine, okay, there's a bit of that. Might grab a couple of early goals. It's really difficult to tell. Yes, we've got better creative players, arguably. There's that. Would I expect him to suddenly go on a goal-scoring splurge and go and bang in 15 goals by the end of the season? Absolutely not. Would I think, he'd match what he gets at Sociedad? 4 goals in 18 games? Probably.
Or a little bit better than that, maybe.
Probably a little bit, maybe 6, 7, like you were saying. It's not going to be groundbreaking, so it's not going to have a massive impact on our season, I don't think. But that's not what, surely the whole reason of buying somebody and spending that kind of money is to have an immediate impact.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'll go to my hair next. Like we're saying, if he works in the system, if he does what Lacazette is doing, plus gets into he's 10 yards ahead of the play where Lacazette is trailing, then he's in a position against Burnley to score a goal and not be behind play like Lacazette was. Am I here?
Now I wanted to ask, have you guys seen him? Did you guys see him play for Borussia Dortmund? And
No.
was he any good at Borussia Dortmund?
I have not. He was a young player, and again he went to. I think he may have lost his way a little bit, but I can't speak with authority in terms of what he is. He is a highly rated talent, though. And
when he was at Borussia Dortmund second, he scored 5 goals in 11 matches, I think. So not a bad return. Look,
was he there like as on loan?
I don't know.
No.
The reason why I was asking is because usually players that are at Borussia Dortmund, they usually stay there and then they get sold for a lot, right? And maybe they happen, but they're usually doing well when that happens as well, right? It's a good system to be in. My understanding, right? If you're a young up and coming player, they typically will increase your worth, increase your performances and your quality. And if that didn't happen, is that a sign?
As Lumbercamp says here, would definitely take Isak. The guy looks clinical as hell. Yeah, we're getting into that a bit, Gary. Here, Isak has a low center of gravity, which makes his movement a bit unpredictable. Like Matt said, 5 goals in 11 for Borussia Dortmund. 2 it was. So he played for the second team, and then he went to. He went to Willem. He was loaned out to Willem, 2 in the Eredivisie in Holland. 13 goals in 16 matches. So, he found feet.
Yeah. I was just going to say, did you guys see that post from Charles Watt from Chris Wheatley about the reason for the delay in signing a striker is that Josh Kroenke has warned Edu he would be fired if he activated another release clause. So, like Charles Watts and Chris Wheatley, I mean, we don't think they're if those are legitimate came from then.
Those are well respected.
So then Isak isn't even on the table, and that's probably why they're trying to not pay the release clause, right?
Yeah, they're negotiating. That's what they're doing now. That is really concerning. Then, if Arsenal is not allowed to activate another release clause, we're speaking as if all of that had been sorted and straightened out with the Kroenkes, which is speculation, of course. Oh no, if the Kroenkes are listening to us, we won't get anyone after your reasonable explanation.
The Rams are playing in like 3 hours. They don't really have time. They're already in the box seats. There's loud. They don't even know that there's other sports going on in the world right now. So forget about it. They don't.
My concern is getting into a Super Bowl. That's for sure. For one, I'm not cheering for them. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan right now. So, yeah.
Do you know what, though, guys? I just think if we look at the players that have been brought in and the way they've performed, I do tend to trust, Arteta and Edu's decision making in terms of talent IQ. So, if they do go for Isak, I think I'd like to trust that decision because clearly they're going to know a hell of a lot more than I do about these players and what they can do. And obviously, if they decide to spend that kind of money on him, then they've obviously seen something that maybe I obviously haven't seen. And I don't really know the player that well. I just hope that if we do go for him, that he really does make a difference. And, a change of team, a change of the creative outlet that he's getting will make the difference between him scoring 4 goals in 18 to 10 or 11. You know,
I believe his stats at Real Sociedad will be boosted by 15-20% coming to better talent around him at Arsenal and a better base
That
behind
doesn't
him.
make any sense to
Yeah, it
me.
does.
It doesn't.
Better players at Arsenal will help you score more goals.
Yeah.
If he's a better player and worthy of that kind of a salary, that release clause, then he's going to actually overcome the deficiencies on his squad. So, which one is it? Is he playing at his level, or is he underachieving? Is he a blip? Right. At some point, these players will overcome all of the deficiencies in the
You
squad
can't.
around them. Right.
It's 11. There's 11 players on a team. You can't win games by yourself, Gary.
I think
Can't win games by
4
yourself.
games in 18 that he can at least be able to get goals by himself at some point. If that's
No,
if you're
players
telling me
pass-
that Real Sociedad, the quality
players
of the team
give
is
you-
not that good.
Other players give strikers opportunities to score.
So he's going to go from 4 goals against Sociedad, and he's going to give us 8 with better quality because that's what you're
Yes.
expecting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got internet. You got look at the Real Sociedad. Januzaj, do you think Januzaj is
It's
better
not
than
the
anything we
team;
have?
it's the quality of. He's got to overcome something, right? He's going to have to do that with Arsenal.
Do
Come
what?
on, we're just complaining that our strikers don't do stuff that they might have to actually go out there and do something a little bit more.
Did Lacazette get an opportunity to score against Burnley?
Opportunities against everybody?
He didn't take them.
He's terrible.
Isaac will
It's not
take
he
the
didn't take them.
opportunity.
He's terrible. There's a big difference between not taking them and missing them all the time.
Lacazette missed a prime
no-
chance against Liverpool.
None of us think when he's got the ball in front of the goal and it's just him and the goalkeeper, he's going to get it past him.
Who?
Right? When's the last time you thought that?
I thought when Lacazette was played through against Liverpool, Lokonga supplied that pass through that Lacazette would score that opportunity. Yes.
Did you, Matt? Did you think that when he was going through on goal?
Started the second half, Matt, at the Emirates.
When's the last time that that Lacazette was going through on goal that you went goal?
Wow, what was that? He scored a cracking goal earlier in the season, didn't he? What was the real team goal? Is it
Southampton.
Southampton?
Yeah.
So that's the one example I can think of where he's done that. But to be fair, it's few and far between. In fairness, he can do it. But the Burnley game, like I say, struggled. I think the thing is, for a striker, we'll create chances. We just need someone who's clinical. So if Isaac is a clinical player and when he gets it, he's a bit of a fox in the box and can stick chances away, he'll probably do quite well. He'll probably bang in a few goals.
I will. Let's have a little. I will have a little bet if he comes to us. and the thing, I want you to read that out again in a second, Gary. The latest tweet that you saw about the release clause. I had to because that was
when that stuff is getting published. I mean, is that really? That's no. I don't need to know any of that. That should never have left anybody's mouth outside of Arsenal. Right?
What?
That he's going to get fired if he decides to go out there and use implement a release clause again. Why does that even come out?
Yeah, and listen, I didn't see it. I had a little look as well already. I didn't see. Can you tell us where that tweet is from, Gary?
Somebody posted it to me and
but also,
in a
Mr.
WhatsApp
Tom,
group.
I did make the mistake of saying San Francisco Giants as well earlier this week. And obviously, I'm not a baseball fan. I'm from Ireland originally, so a mistake. Isaac in the city. So, listen, that changes things, Matt. If what Gary's saying is true, Edu triggers another release clause. Josh has said he's going to get fired, but obviously, that's just reports that we're getting. Unsubstantiated reports right now.
Yeah.
Josh
it's an interesting one. I'm not sure how true it is, but if
Josh
it's come
has
from
put a spanner in the works. If that is true, Arteta should resign, stating unreasonable working terms. I feel sorry for Aubameyang. We ruined that guy. He went from playing striker with Ozil in behind to playing left wing back for Arteta. Man had to win the FA Cup by himself. And listen, he did come forward. You got to give him props for that. We'll see what happens tomorrow in terms of Isak. I think he's really only the last option in the hat for us. It's not going to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Jonathan David is a striker I would love, but I think it's going to be in the summertime. And this is the issues and the problems, Matt, in terms of trying to get players in January. It's notoriously difficult.
Yeah, teams want to keep hold of the good players, don't they? Midway through the season, you're always going to have a bit of a tussle on your hands trying to get hold of the good ones, and where the good ones are kind of possible to do, it's going to be complex, and it's going to take a lot of money to get them away from the parent clubs. So, it's difficult, isn't it? You look at Vlahovic and all of the palaver over that. These players that are in demand, they have a lot of say as well. They can demand which club they want to go to, which they prefer, whether they want to stay at the club until the summer and negotiate a better deal. It's not easy. When you've got a short window to go and get things done, there's a lot of factors in play that mean that deals are going to be complex. And deals do get done last minute as a result. So I'm just hoping that there's some kind of foundations for deals that have been laid, at least one or two. And we'll see those come through tomorrow. I've got a feeling we may only see one, and that might be Isak or someone similar. Yeah, because you think we were worried about AFCON, but players have come back from that tournament now. So it's going to be one of those where maybe actually they reevaluate that position and think, well, actually we don't really need to go and buy anyone anymore because, like I say, we've got four there. We'll wait until summer to get the person we really, really want, rather than buying just a that'll do player. So yeah, it may just be a striker tomorrow, but I would be amazed if we don't get a single striker or anybody in. It would be odd.
Crazy enough, you look at your timeline, look at mine right now. At TR_Gooner76, he's got a picture of that 15 AAK at St. John's Wood, 5:15 p.m., 30th of January 2022. 100% proof Arsenal. Alexander Isak is in London and it's time for the Arsenal. Listen, that's going to happen. But as long as I think Alex is right, when they hold up the shirt, when all of that is done, but I'll wait till the end of the transfer window when Jim White's talking about it, if he's still working. I think it's true because some of Wenger's decisions were baffling, just like Arteta's. Norma is back. Good to see you, Norma. Great to have you back. Who is better, in your guys' opinion, Jonathan David or Isak? I actually think Jonathan David is a more complete striker for me.
I probably agree with you on that.
Leading the line, but if by the end of the summer we have both of them in the house, I'm not going to complain at all. And if it has to start with Isak because he's the more attainable right now, Gary, what are you thinking?
You can't get both.
You get one in this window and one.
You can't get both. You're not going to go out there and spend that money on two strikers, same age dynamic. I mean, nah, you're not going to do that. It's like going out there and getting two goalkeepers at the same age that are potentially going to be your starter. It doesn't even make any. What are we doing?
Because that never happened. Right?
You pick one or the other. Whichever one you think is going to fit, that's one you go with. If we don't get Isak now, Donovan David needs to be the first one we go for, right? Right. Yeah. So, and like Riddy said, you trigger it, the player has to want to come too, right?
I believe he's got that relationship with Ødegaard that he wants to come. I believe it. He's not going to say it.
And let's face it, Arsenal is going to be an upgrade, even though where we are at the moment, it's still going to be an upgrade from Real Sociedad.
Yeah, the fan base. I mean, it's ultimate. It's instant.
Are you sure about this fan base? The fan base
we're wide and buried, Gary. We're wide.
They were looking at it, looking at his receipts in his garbage can outside his room that he's staying at. I mean, they know exactly where he's been, what he's doing.
Actually,
come on.
I can't verify where Tony is right now.
Nobody wants to know that. Nobody wants to know that anyways. Sometimes some things are better left just not. No, I don't.
I told him to come on the podcast to we gave you an alibi, but he didn't do it yet. He's not here. So
I think he's mourning for Chambers, isn't he?
You know, like I said, I don't see anything about that Charles Watt, but like I said, there was somebody put a tweet in a WhatsApp group that I was looking.
And you got to be very careful of this stuff.
Exactly,
like that,
exactly. I mean, we've heard reports that they are trying to not have to pay the release clause, which would make sense because it is a lot of money for a player.
You can negotiate. You can negotiate to do it without the release clause, but why would a club do that? You know, there's no reason why
the player's not worth that much, right? Like right now, like this could be this could get negative, right? Player's only got 4 goals right now. A big team wants to come in and get him. Nope, they don't want to get it. And now next thing you know, he's got his head. He's all up in his head, you know, and he has an even worse second half. He has an even worse second half, right?
And AC Milan are sniffing around as well. So.
Yeah. And he's still worth 70 then? I don't think so.
And there's going to be that pressure of the price tag, 77 million. He's going to have to hit the ground running. Pepe will tell you what that feels like, although I don't know if Pepe knows what that feels like.
He doesn't seem like he's too aware of what's going on around him. He probably just heard about it. Like I keep hearing about this 72. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Really good point. They threw that in to confuse the fan base. While you're pondering that, nothing is spent again, or another Sonogo appears. Breaking. Tony is under. Nobody wants that. Under Alexander Isak's bed. Sources say he found a signed T-shirt. He brought back.
I mean, that'd be scary, wouldn't it? Waking up and seeing some guy
and a one-legged guy is underneath your bed.
Dressed in Russian leathers.
I do hope that Alexander Isak doesn't have any leather in his wardrobe. Tony does like himself some leather as well.
He does, yeah, he does.
So, Gary, what's your feel? What's your feel? I hate asking this question. What's your feeling on Isak? Are we getting him tomorrow?
I think it's the easiest thing we can do.
Yeah.
So, if we're gonna make a splash. That's the only one that makes any sense to me. I don't see us going through and signing any play that requires some negotiation back and forth. Turner-ski.
He wants to be the real head turner.
But like I said, I don't know why we're waiting. If we want to get it done, if you want to get it done, it should have been. The money should have been sent over today. Bank accounts should have been confirmed. Deposit should have been, also confirmed, and we just move on. Because for me, I don't like it.
I don't like it either, but I agree with you. I think I've got the same feeling as you. I think it will happen. And we wanted it to happen yesterday. We wanted it to happen today. It's going to happen tomorrow.
The only thing that makes any sense is just because you want to do it with a day to spare. You don't want to try and do it tomorrow, and then you fall on your face because of some stupidity. Something stupid. Somebody didn't pass the right paperwork through, or whatever the case may be. Right? For me, I don't see any unless something crazy happened where you got a player, you're about to sign him, and then something silly happened, and then you're like, crap, we were going to go this other route, but we didn't think we needed to. Boom, we do it. Dusan wasn't never coming to Arsenal, right? He never was coming. And somebody at Arsenal needed to know that after the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth conversation, in that kind of situation, right? If you're not dealing with the player and the agent, it's not happening, right? And this is something for October. So since October to a week left in the transfer window, Arsenal still was trying. They told us they don't need to beg, right?
It's bad. That's bad. We shouldn't need to beg if a player. All Arteta's words again, Matt. If a player, we shouldn't have to convince a player too much. Well, we tried for 24 some days, right?
Yeah, and he's right. We shouldn't have to. But I think, to be honest, being a realist, with the club in the position it's in at the moment, you're going to have to, flirt a little and take him out for dinner and kind of try and persuade him. It's not going to be as easy as it was when Wenger was here, and you're winning trophies and, just the name itself says, yeah, you definitely want to come to this club because we're first and second every year and we're winning, we're winning things. You're going to have to work hard to bring players to the club a little bit more than you used to. So Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't have to really force it, and they should have to want to come. But realistically, we are going to have to probably pay over the odds a little bit, or agree to terms that maybe we were probably a little bit out of budget or a little bit out of our planned budget, etc., to go for them. Because that's the realistic kind of thing. That's the place we're in at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Matt, does it get done tomorrow, Isaac?
I think so. I think the only reason I say this is because there doesn't seem to be any news about. I mean, again, Chambers went, completely out of the blue. So who knows? There could be something completely unexpected to happen tomorrow. But the more realistic thing is Isaac's been a very consistent name that's been out there throughout the whole window. We've been linked with him for a while. If we haven't gone, or if we haven't been able to get Vlahovic over the line, then it's probably, like Gary says, the most realistic thing we're going to be able to do by the end of the window, given his position and the fact that we can just go for his release clause if we want to. Probably the most likely thing that's going to be done. So I would probably say so. I would probably think that is the most realistic thing that we'll see tomorrow is him joining us. Yeah.
All right, let's do this tomorrow. Arsenal, come on, you've made us wait 30 days now. Gary, we'll stay a few more minutes, maybe 15 more, if that's okay with you two. Mahir had to leave.
Yeah, it looks like Pepe. Looks like Pepe is on his way to Dubai, right? Do we get? Once again, is AFCON?
No, happily.
Is AFCON Pepe going to turn into Arsenal Pepe in the next 3 weeks?
I mean,
whatever the next game is.
I think Matt and I said it earlier. If he's played, we might see something like that.
Yeah.
But will he be played? That's the question. I can only see and we don't want a serious injury. I can only see an injury making that happen. Gary, do you believe Arteta's overworked? Says the assembled.
I don't even know what that means. I think he's gotten less and less things to do. He's gotten less and less things to do each season. He's
less and less
players, right? I mean, think about it. He went in and he played in the final in his first half season. The next season he had European football, and this season he's got nothing. He's getting less and less things to do, right?
Yeah.
Less and less things to do, and no, I don't. Is he overworked? I hope not, because I hope not, because he wants Champions League. Champions League.
I don't think he wants to be overworked. I think he wants to buy players that make his life easier, plug and play players that he doesn't have to fashion or mold. Because we haven't seen a lot of Arteta.
That's not
managing or coaching players.
It's not the way good teams are run.
I agree.
They don't just go out there and get the players they need. They actually have to take a player and make them better when they get there.
Only in Manchester City.
I was just saying, only City can do that. They're the plug and plays, aren't they? Let's face it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? But like most teams in the world, they get a player and they mold them to fit into whatever they're trying to do. And you're like, damn it, how did they get that out of this player, right?
Yep.
Right? We see it all the time. I mean, every time I look at some of the teams below us on the squad, I'm like, damn, what could do with a player like that, right? A player that goes out there and plays for the shirt. That doesn't require much, right?
Yeah.
But it does if the manager's not getting it out of them, right? And that's kind of where I think we are sometimes, is that we have players that are out there doing it themselves, but some players need to be poked and prodded and get there. Or
realistically, is Arteta doing more duties than a normal manager would do? No. Every manager has to coach and lead a team. He's doing that. That's fine. He gets involved with transfers. Well, pretty much every manager does that. Like you say, he's got less competitions to actually manage in terms of squad rotation and everything like that. He's got less players to rotate because we sold them all. No, he's. I don't think he's overworked. I don't think so at all. Yes, he's got other things like trying to create a culture and all of that stuff, but no, I don't think he's overworked. I think he's got exactly the same kind of duties as pretty much any other manager out there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a big organization. Arsenal have a lot of people who can help. Shout out to Mahir for joining us.
You know what? You say that's a good thing that you say there, but I don't think he does. It's a big club. He should have people to help him.
But who doesn't have, Gary?
I don't think he has the right people to help him.
Maybe not the right people. Maybe not the right people.
No, exactly.
He has people.
No.
To help
It's
him.
got to be the right people. It doesn't make any sense, right? He needs somebody you can sell. He needs somebody you can buy. He needs some assistants that can help. I mean, we saw AirPod Albert look really comfortable on the sideline there, right? The team play a certain way without Arteta. He comes back and everything looks back to what it was before Albert AirPod. And we're like, what's going on here? Right?
That looks very suspicious because he had the first 11. But yes, he got a tune out of that 11 against Manchester City. I would say that's probably the best performance of the season so far.
Yeah, and so you look at that.
We played the dynamic, fast-flowing football, and Arteta wasn't on the sidelines. Got to ask the question.
But then, how much is that down to Arteta's preparation? Because he would have done all the preparation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Until that point, it's difficult, isn't it? It's very easy to say. It's very easy when you've got one game, you've had a whole week or whatever to prepare. Arteta's been there for all of that, done all of the pre-match preparations, done all the videos analysis, just because he's not there on the day, and then suddenly say, well, that's got nothing to do with Arteta because
it might have something to do with maybe it's the day. Maybe the problem is the day of the game. Maybe that's the problem. And maybe what was done on that day and what's done typically on that day is different.
Yeah,
right?
We won't know. We will if we saw another game. It
looked different to everybody.
Well,
everybody saw something different.
Yes.
You even said it looked like one of the best games they had all season.
I did.
The only way you can say it is if it looked better than it did in the past.
If it looks better, you have to ask yourself, it could have been better. It was because
what do you mean it could have been? You just said it was. It's either it was or it wasn't. Which one is it?
No, it's like
then you look at the Spurs game.
If it looks like a duck, then it is a duck. Okay, that's what I'm saying. If it looks like a duck, then it is a duck.
Yeah. I did interrupt you. You talking to Gundit, my hair there.
Yeah. Shout out to Mahir.
So, yeah.
Great to have you in here, Mahir. We always look for the younger generation. Coming from Mahir, he's keeping our average age down.
Always get good vibes and fun times with Mahir.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy it when he's on.
Kim Jong Teta will be here for generations to come. 8th is the new 4th. I'm looking forward to the championship. Yeah. Arsenal have never been relegated.
I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah,
Arsenal have never been relegated. I don't want to see that day ever happen.
We can't see 8th, and I really think we can't see 7th either. So we have to be top 6 for me to feel like we've had a successful season.
If I've said before, if it's below 6th, then forget about it. He's got to go. A couple of other items on the transfer list, and then we got to talk about the difference between this year and last year real quick. We're going to round this up in the next 10 minutes. We will drop a backstage pass. Reddy is asked to do that, to come in and talk to us. When the cameras have gone off and we're not live, we will give you a backstage pass. Come in and say hello. It's been fun. We've had a few people come in. You get to actually speak to the people that are in the chat room and get an understanding for how they're feeling about Arsenal. It's always good to hear that as well. Matt, before we even get into Nketiah, because there's a little bit of news about Nketiah as well, I want to tie up a few things. Matt Turner coming in the summer. That means Bernd Leno's leaving in the summer.
Yeah, I think Bernd Leno's going to want to be playing first team football, isn't he? He's going to want games. He's a very good goalkeeper. It's very difficult as a goalkeeper because there's only one of you that's going to be able to play. So, if someone like Ramsdale has come into the club, has basically nudged you out of that spot, and it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get in no matter what you do, because you just don't have some of those qualities that he does have, then you're going to be looking for a place elsewhere. And I don't necessarily blame him for that. If he's clearly not going to be picked week in, week out, even if he's training hard and whatever. I was a bit disappointed by comments early on as Ramsdale came in. He kind of showed a bit of a lack of fight to want to fight for his place. That was a bit disappointing. But look, I don't blame him for wanting to go. I think this Matt Turner, I don't really know anything about him. Gary probably knows a little bit more, obviously being in an American league, so he probably have more interesting things to say. But having looked at it, and I think he's got some incredibly good stats. I think his story is quite a almost
Good
like
story.
a bit of a Disney
Rags to
story in
riches.
terms of
Yeah.
rags to riches kind of story, which is always great. He seems to be a very, very good prospect. Probably the right kind of goalkeeper that you want, who's going to be keen. Isn't necessarily at the same level of Ramsdale, so he's quite happy to kind of get the opportunities as and when they come, improve and be under kind of better players to up his level, and he'll be a good solid second choice. So I'm happy about that. It was a bit surprised that we were going to go for him this window. I thought maybe we'd have done that in the summer, but I don't know what we've got left on Leno's deal, whether that ends end of season. I don't know. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be prepared for that.
Hey, Tybe, thanks for coming in. Hey, Gary and Matt from
Hey.
Tybe. Good to see
Hi,
you.
Tybe.
So what we got
Gary
like
smiling.
we got like 26 hours right until this thing's done. Is it 26 hours? It is, right?
I think it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
26
6
hours,
So
just under.
okay, so just
UK,
under so
UK,
22
6
hours.
o'clock.
So 22 hours or whatever the number is, and our biggest signing is for the summer, backup goalkeeper.
Yep.
No,
So far.
until his name came up, I didn't know who he was. He did play on Thursday last week, and he looked really good. And there was one YouTube video with one kick that he took from like inside the goal
I know you, Gary.
on a dime to the player
Martinelli.
on the left hand side. It would have been Martinelli, right? And so it looked really
Like
nice.
that City game.
We've seen Ramsdale do it, and I just saw Matt Turner do it. Some American striker.
It was like that City game on New Year's Day where Ramsdale kicked it into the heavens and Martinelli took it down with instant control.
Just like that. So he's done that at least once. That's all I can tell you.
It's a little nugget.
Whether or not he's done it multiple times. I mean, I think his footwork is definitely nowhere near Ramsdale, and it might be good for him to step up. He is competing for the number one goalkeeper position, so it can only get better playing under Ramsdale. And then if we're able to get in European, we'll see a lot more of him, and maybe it'll just be a nice like sell later on because somebody might want a goalkeeper at that level.
I think it's a good thing. Maybe Ramsdale knows that Leno is leaving. And maybe Ramsdale's
should have known that already.
Yeah, but maybe Ramsdale's level has come down a little bit. Okay, we're playing Liverpool, and Liverpool can stress any team. But Ramsdale had looked a little shaky. I think maybe not younger, but Turner is 27, I think. You know, a goalkeeper is going to come and push the number one.
Be hungry. Yeah.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
We all know Bernd Leno's leaving.
Okay, cool.
Gary?
Yeah, no, I was just saying I did get confirmation. I didn't even look at it, but the tweet I got didn't have a blue check on it. So
fake news.
So it wasn't real.
Check for that blue tick.
But I mean, I do believe that they don't want to pay that full release clause. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to. So it makes monetary sense not to want to have to spend that much, regardless of who it is.
We don't want to spend too much more time. I got a couple more things to get through. Gary, I mentioned Patrick Schick on Thursday night, Bayer Leverkusen player, and they have just bought an Iranian player, Sardar Azmoun from Zenit St. Petersburg. They brought this player in January ahead of time. Could possibly Patrick Schick be a target?
Yeah, you know, when I saw that in the chats, the Leverkusen come up, and you know what? Looking at his stats, I mean, 17 games, 18 goals. I mean,
second to Lewandowski.
It's a step down for him, and it not step down. It's going to be more challenging for him, so it's going to be a step up for him. Is understatement, but he does put the ball in the net, right? So that's what you want to see, and whether or not the competition is at the same level as an Isak. I think, is he older? Yeah, he's a lot older.
26. Yeah,
he's
4 years older.
So he's in that. For me, he would be in that Calvin Lewin age bracket if we were going to bring on a player. Yeah. So he's got some experience underneath him. I don't know. Is that one of those? Is that a release clause, or that
would be about 40 million, I would say. Patrick Schick, and he had a great 2020 with the Czech Republic. One of the leading scorers in that competition.
Yeah, so they need to bring in strikers, right? They need to bring in strikers in the next 2 windows. and we don't believe it can all happen in the summer. So if they think he's going to do it, then that's good.
I'm not saying he's going to Arsenal. I'm just saying they've got reinforcements in anticipation of somebody coming in for Schick, and who knows?
Yeah, like I said, I just think some of like there's for me, if they're dragging it out, I don't understand why. Right? If they're dragging it out, I just don't understand why.
Yeah.
I think like I just like to have the player in, get them acclimated to the team sooner the better, and then move on to the next hurdle. And there's too many boxes to fill for us to be dragging things out too long. There's got to be there's other places that we need players, right? Other positions that we need to work on. Goalkeeper in the summer isn't one. Shouldn't he, why is that even on our list of things to do?
Well, we didn't need it when we had Leno and we went and got.
No. Why is it even something we're dealing with in the January window when things are already constrained as it is?
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't going to cut.
I would say clarification. Everyone knows Bernd Leno's leaving, so get that sorted.
It doesn't even matter. I don't care if he was coming or going. Why are we doing summer dealings?
I don't know, because it's easy.
Exactly. We don't need easy. I want to do the big stuff and the tough stuff
I've
first.
given up trying to fight and defend this club. What's up, family? Big up to the family and those.
Hi, Mobay.
Welcome. One day, Mobay, we'll get you on here. Hopefully, you will accept the invitation. We'd love to have you over here, Arsenal Fan Circle. Keep that the link with Cannon Fodder going there. Matt, did you want to comment on Sardar Azmoun from Zenit and Patrick?
So is it Patrick Schick? Patrick Schick, he seems like he's hitting a bit of form this season. Good stats this season. What was it? 18 goals in 17 games or something like that. But just looking, I'm just looking as we're going now. The season before, 9 goals in 29 games and 1 assist. Not too dissimilar to an Isak type player. Looking at the previous clubs, he wasn't prolific there either. Roma.
In all honesty, if you can get a 1 in 3 goal scorer, that could possibly improve to a 1 in 2, one every other 2 games, every other game. That's not. Those are not bad stats.
It's not bad. I mean, this season fantastic, but then he's 26. I don't know. I think it's probably on a par with Isak, to be honest with you. For me, I think it would depend on price. I think you're probably looking at 2 very similar players in terms of output, although Schick is a player who is currently on better form. Yeah. So maybe a better option for now. Still got a good 4 or 5 years in him, so could be a good option still. Isak would definitely be one for the future, but it depends on whether we want to pay that.
And there's something to be said for a player that has just a little bit more experience as well. We're a very young team right now. We're a very young team now. Right now,
I would probably pay a little bit less, go for this guy out of the 2 of them, and have someone who's actually hot on form at the moment.
Okay, this brings us inevitably on. I've saved this maybe the best for last. Eddie Nketiah, Gary.
That's the best for last. That's like pain.
Hey, we have to entertain.
Somebody wants
to. Did not everyone who's watching right now and who's going to watch it on playback chuckle right now when I said the best for last? Eddie Nketiah, that's the best we have.
That's just some more pain on top of the pain. Your January window is going terribly, so let's throw this in there on top of this just to make you feel better. A second time around, Arsenal said, "Nah, we don't want to let him go."
Arsenal preparing a big announcement tomorrow for the Amazon movie. I'd like to say you can't make this stuff up, but they apparently seem to be making this stuff up.
And you know what? And Martinelli, I think Martinelli can do a job as good as Nketiah, based on the results that we get. Get him in the middle of the pitch. He doesn't even have to now chase out to the sides and work as hard as he has to now just to get the ball into the box. He's already in the box now, right? That would be nice to see. Wouldn't it be nice to see Martinelli up top with a Milsroof row and Saka on the outsides and Erdegaard coming up the middle?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be nice to see? Maybe
Yeah.
we'll, and then and
There is a question. There is a question if Martinelli can hack it. Not necessarily. He's going to get injured. He's going to have to take a lot of abuse from centre backs. They're going to want to put one on him, and he may be more effective coming from the left. Just saying.
What is Nketiah doing up the middle?
Missing from 2 yards out.
Okay, so then for me, I'll take my chances with Martinelli. So I don't know if you're his agent, you did a really bad job. Nketiah's agent now.
Well, I don't want my player being injured with a being put out with a season-long injury.
And which Martinelli you mean, right?
Martinelli.
Okay.
Getting hacked down by a centre back who's afraid of his pace, and I feel like you'd have a lot more benefit coming between fullbacks and centre backs.
You know what? The more that's going to keep happening, that's going to happen to him anyways because he's going to keep scoring, right? He's just trending that way. Saka, right? He's going down all the time now, consistently. Martinelli, the once he starts putting goals in, getting on a little run again, they're going to do the same thing, and it's like, all right, at some point, stop it, But yeah, that's going to happen. Now, that Nketiah news is just for me. It's just salt on the wound, right? It just stings, right?
Do we have to? We have to cash in on him. We're going to get nothing in the summertime.
It's not. No, he's not going anywhere. So he's just going to walk away.
Yeah, and Arteta's put all this time, Matt, into Eddie, and he's going to look very foolish, I think.
It's just there's a couple of decisions that you're a bit baffled by, like this whole Eddie situation, the Ainsley Maitland-Niles situation. If you're not going to play players, sell them, loan them, do whatever you need to do, but give them game time elsewhere. It's not fair on the player. It makes absolutely zero sense from a kind of a rotational point of view if you're not actually going to give them games. From a financial perspective, it makes zero sense to the club. Because you're basically giving away a valuable asset for free, when you could be getting 10, 15 million for them, which could go in the transfer kitty, by the way, in the summer for other players to come in. So if there's bids on the table, this is where doing deals early, if you get money for him, let him go to Crystal Palace, let him go to Newcastle, let him go wherever, but you get your deals done early to replace him, rather than leaving it until 10 hours before the window shuts to let him go and then have, Lacazette and just, Isak or whoever it might be that comes in.
It's gonna be a stressful 24 hours. I'll be at work tomorrow. I don't know how productive I can be. Checking my phone.
Refresh. It's going to pull down or whatever it is.
Every Arsenal fan better not be known at work that they're not going to be productive.
It should be a national holiday, Ray. That's what it should be. It should be a national holiday.
Oh my God. The other thing is Morata. I don't know if we want to even entertain Morata, but that's kind of where we are right now, right?
You know what? You were happy you were like, what was it? Like his whole Euros. You're like, he's not gonna score. Eventually he did, but it's just like this guy.
I said that.
No. If you watch the Euros, you're just like, you knew in Spain, how are they going to score? Because this guy's not helping them at all.
Yeah,
he was really poor in Euros and did not have a good showing in terms of whether he was worthy of a. He's a Spanish striker and he can't score. What's going on here? All right, they just struggle with him up top there.
We have been talking about the transfer window. It's been a long one, just over 2 hours. We're going to spend another 10 minutes talking about this season and last season. But do either of you want to mention anything else in terms of the transfer window before, or forever hold your peace kind of thing? No.
Just say a prayer. A prayer. Has anyone got a prayer? I mean, I'm not religious, but has anyone got a prayer? Please?
We're living on a prayer, Matt. That's the
I want to wake up tomorrow morning with some news.
Well, we're halfway there.
Living on a prayer. Okay, so I think Sam asked this question. Gary, I'll go to you first. Last season, we had 31 points. I think we conceded 5 less goals, he said. But the important thing was 31 points last season from 21 games. Does this really represent improvement? I would counter that by saying this season we're on 21 games played with 36 points. we're not chasing the game now. We're sort of in the hunt right now. In the end of January, we're in the hunt, not chasing.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess pre January, we looked. I would say it was an improvement, but since then, it's just been really not. So, like right now, we're not trending in a really good space for me.
Correct.
Coming into the end of December, we're looking pretty good, and we're expecting to see something good in January with the way the games were set up, and we didn't even get a win. We're still looking to get a win. It's gonna be we're not gonna get a win maybe until February. All right.
No, we don't have another game.
So
We can be Reading.
so no, but you know what? So we have to wait until till February to get a win in this year. So I wouldn't say that's a good trend. And we usually have 2 month issues like we did last season, right? November and most of December were pretty poor for us, and now we've done it again. It's January now. We get 2 matches to actually show up and do something. This is everybody's like Arteta's going to have. He's basically got 4 weeks to prepare his team for 2 games. There is no reason that the games don't go as he plans them. Right? It's too much tape, too much information on whoever he's playing. Doesn't matter who's on the field for the other team. He should have answers for everybody, and he should be able. He's got, I believe, the better attackers in at least the Wolves game as a whole. And we know we have a good defense, and the defense needs to hold up, keep the box clean, clean sheet and all of that stuff in the Wolves match. We need to do that. We typically have come up good against those teams, right? They've not been blowouts or teams running away from us. We've had our opportunities. Except for the Everton is probably the one game that Everton and United, basically, we didn't look good in those, right? I don't even know if I'm helping myself with that, but but because
with Wolves, what happens to Ruben Neves?
I would take him, but I don't think
I would take him in a heartbeat. But that seems to have died down a lot. It's kind of appeared a little bit. Now it's just disappeared again. So.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like those type of players, their teams are sitting right there on the cusp of European football, right? Mm-hmm. All of them, all the players. Wolves are right there. I mean, we win this game, right? We win this game, and we've got a solid spot in that top 6, right? With another game in hand, we can even creep up even more. And this is an opportunity. This is why it's so crazy that we are. Typically, we could be competing for 3rd place. All right, we win the 3 games in hand behind the 3 games that we're behind on Chelsea. We're like a point behind them, right? Isn't that where you want to be? So shouldn't you go out there and fill the holes? We didn't do that either. So it's like something needs to be done, or he needs to have pull a master class with the way he manages this team.
We're right there. We're right there, and. The Samble's asking, Ray, what's the difference between chasing the hunt and being in it? Which I replied, 5 points assembled. We're 5 points better off this season right now than we were last season. It's very good. You mean they are in the pack with tiring legs? Well, you go to Dubai for a couple of weeks, so you better not come back with tired legs, Matt.
Yeah, I think personally the break's going to do us some good because. We were starting to be a little bit erratic. We were playing very, very well and putting, like the City game, for example, and then we'd have the blip and have the Burnley, couldn't really kind of break through and put in a decent performance. I think a break's going to do us good, a little bit of a reset, have some nice training time in the sun, or catch a tan, or sit around a pool and chat up women like Ben White's been doing that I've been seeing. It'll do them good, and hopefully when they come back, they'll be re-energized to go again. Sometimes I think when your engine's stuttering a little bit, you can get caught in a bit of a rut if you've got a lot of games coming up and they're all congested. I think it's good that we've had a couple of weeks or so just to kind of take ourselves out of that loop, reset again, and go again. So hopefully against Wolves, we can get going again with our season and put a run together. Hopefully with a brand new striker, a big shiny Rolls Royce up top, but who knows? They're all catching a nice tan. I've seen that.
Yeah, look, I just think those 5 goals can be accounted for easily by Granit Xhaka against City. We've been horrendous against the bigger teams, but we haven't been bad against the rest of the league. Aside Burnley aside, which
Well, we've had Everton, United. We've had a couple. But they're starting to become a little bit more consistent, or we're starting to see them a little bit more.
Yeah,
we need another probably good 5 or 6 game run again.
Two of those games, we failed in the away part of those games. Going to United, going to Everton were big tests, and I think we failed both those tests in the moment. It looked very like the old Arsenal creeping back in, but we stemmed the tide a little bit there. Anything else to add, Gary? I think we'll get out of here. I've dropped the link in for anyone who does want to join us backstage for a few minutes.
No, nothing else. Yeah, we just 1 or 2 players. That's all. I mean, I'm not
asking for much, Gary.
Gary looks jaded. Arsenal have made you jaded, Gary.
Yeah, I can't. You know what? VAR has made it tough for us to cheer on goals. Arsenal is making it hard to go through a window yeah. That's like, I mean, they just don't want any enjoyment in our lives. I don't understand. Come on. We want you know what? Like, remember, I don't know if this has happened because I've never been part of this, but you bring in a player, the player arrives in London, right? After the window, all the fans are there greeting them. Does that happen? Now?
Arshavin. I remember Arshavin.
Yeah, but when's the last time that's happened that you're like a big player's coming in? Okay. I thought you were going to be. I thought you were going to be serious here.
Ozil. No, there was a clamor about Welbeck. That's how bad things had gotten.
Welbeck. I mean, but Welbeck's not Ozil on that with that CV. You know what I mean? Like that's where Ozil's going to bring it to you. Partey was like, yes, that's a good solid player for us, but he's not a player like a not even a Haaland would probably get that reception right when he comes, right? Wherever he goes, he's going to get that big of a reception, and that's what you want.
This is the fear. December said Arteta seems to be gambling that the players will run into form. 17 games only, but you can't discount the possibility of injuries. But if we get injuries, it could backfire. I'm not sure he's thought about that properly. And this is what they do. The clubs gamble. They don't want to spend too much money in January. But every transfer is a risk. If we drop that amount of money for Isak, it's a lot of money for not a lot for potential. Lukaku's come to Chelsea. He hasn't set the world alight either. These things happen. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will leave it there. Gary, you will have fun tomorrow evening over at the Red Cannon, digesting what has happened. Transfer window.
I hope we have something to talk about that's dealing with the transfer window as opposed to. All right, so when is our next game again? Who's going to be our starters?
10th February.
Right. Thursday the 10th, 7:45.
So we got 10 days from now, right? It's a midweek game then, right? Right.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday night. Why is it Thursday?
We'll be able to digest it on the Thursday night forum.
Why is it? Is it Thursday because there's
FA Cup games, and then I don't know why it's a Thursday.
Because Thursday would mean we're playing Thursday and we play on the weekend. No, we don't even play on the weekend, right? We only
play Brentford on the 19th, so we've got 9 days between that game and the Brentford game.
So there is
we've only got 2 games in February. 2 games.
Ridiculous, right? That is ridiculous.
We got 17 games in 90 days, something like that.
This is, what, and that's ridiculous from the FA to set it up that way that they can't fill in games. A team shouldn't have to basically. It's not even in February. Think about it. When's the last time we played in January? All right, 5 weeks, 2 games, and then all of a sudden now we're going to have to play. We're going to have to make up the 4 games we have somehow. Why?
2 in February, 3 in March.
That's the dumbest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
No, if they can reschedule the games, I think they should just reschedule the games to fill it all in. Screw the schedule. Get it done sooner and not kill these players and teams, right?
All right.
Yuck.
Gary, Cheer up. You'll be happier tomorrow, okay?
No.
We'll get somebody. You'll be happier tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Mahir, for joining. Thanks, Tony Turner, for doing some brilliant espionage work over in London. We cannot be your alibi, though. I'm sorry. Whatever you did illegally, it's on you, buddy. And thanks to Matt and Gary also for joining today. Great podcast. Really enjoyed it. We don't know what Arsenal's going to do for us, but I think they should do something tomorrow. We deserve it. Backstage pass is there for anyone who wants to use it. Do come in and say hello. And until next time, we will see you out there. Take care, everyone.
Ladies, everybody.